Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to one and all. Kind of a rough start today, but we'll power through it and we will continue. Welcome, hi, I'm Meffistoe, and this is my channel. We're gonna find out today if 1999 was the best year in movie history, or was it 1984? Right before we begin, I kind of want to let people kind of trickle in before we do this. If you start to watch this and you're like, "Who is this guy?" It's like, "Hi, Mephisto. Check out the channel. Like this video, subscribe, share it around." It's like the subscription, it's not that important. Just share it around, and if you like movies, join us every Saturday, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific for the Real McCoy podcast, where we dive deep into the movie of the week. All right. Today. Well, you know what? Before a little bit more shilling, you can follow me on Twitter. It's right there. It's at Meffistoe. It is at Mephisto79 on Instagram, which I check frequently, but not so often. I just don't like to use Zuck Fuckerberg's stuff. You can email the show itself, and what the frick? You can email the show itself at the Real McCoy podcast at gmail.com for suggestions for everything like to reach me, all that good stuff. And that'll be that. If you're watching this live, let me just beep. Right. If you're watching this live, if you want to join this debate, I've got all this room around me to just tag you in. But I will just continue on drudging forward. Chat or no chat, this will be for the ages. Ladies and gentlemen, 1999 was a very special year. 1999 was the end of a full decade of movies that were kind of out there, kind of delve into less of the old hip hip hooray 80s and more into the deep dark subject matters. There was some hip hip hooray moments, but overall, if you look at the dichotomy between 1984 and 1999, there were a lot more, let's just say, more dark. A lot more directors have taken their liberty into putting more stuff into movies that are they're either their own writing, or they came up with some sort of a writer and put it into their movies. And I'm talking about the better ones. And there were a lot of better ones, a lot of really good ones, and a lot of flops, just like 1984, which I covered. I will have the 1984 stream linked down below. It is not linked right now. It will be after the show. I will be drinking Say Water tonight. Stay hydrated, folks. It is the winter, so we are losing losing water without actually noticing we are losing it. So stay hydrated and drink whatever you need to drink. Just keep your health up. It's very important this time of year. It is the holidays over here in yay old holy country Israel, with me, the Jew boy. But it is Christmas all around the world, in the old Europe and over at the States. And I hope you're feeling happy and joyous and with your family. And if not, you can always join us on Christmas Eve for a very special Real McCoy podcast, where we're going to cover Gremlins. It is a fantastic movie, but it's weird to say the least. But that's Saturday. This is it. 1999 was a special year. I went through a lot of these movies, and the one thing that popped over and over and again is a lot of Miramax stuff. A lot of Miramax stuff. And you know what I'm talking about. The old Harvey boy has really done dirty. But Yeah, a lot of stuff that that was, you know, on here and there. A lot of teen angst stuff, which is was weird to for me to like re-remember and like re-jog my memory about this stuff, and was like, wow, that's like amazing. Right. The way I'm going to do it is roughly the same way I did 1984, where I've went through the big list of the box office, and I'm going to go bottom to top. I'm not going to have the big list on the screen all the time. I'm just going to have the specific movies. I'm going to use their IMDb, mostly the IMDb pages, and to give you some casting stuff, some directing stuff. I've went through this. It is, let me just count. I think about 120 movies. I went back and I've reread them and reread them and reread them, but probably forgot a lot of it. Some of these movies I think I've seen every single movie on the list, but to tell you the truth, I don't remember a lot about the plots on every single one. Whatever I'm gonna miss, you can comment section down below. You can yell at me. You can just tell me I don't know shit about shit. That's okay. There's a lot. Went through the website called, there's two websites I've used for references. One is called The Numbers, which has a lot of great numbers about statistics about box office and all that good stuff. And the other one is Box Office Mojo, where there's a small discrepancy between the two, which is weird. But we're talking about around roughly 220, 230 movies that came out to the theaters. Some of them were had a theatrical release in the States. Some of them did not. Every single one that is including on this list was on the US market because it is the biggest market, especially at the time. So let's just go ahead and start, shall we? We're gonna start with this one. First movie on the list is, oh, I need to stop this. No. See, already a mistake. It is called Jawbreakers. Jawbreakers. Rose McGowan, Julie Benz, Rebecca Gayheart. What movie is this if you haven't seen this movie? Well, it didn't do well at the box office. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. It is about a trio of ladies in high school that they're really jealous on the upcoming prom queen. And yes, Rose McGowan plays the bitchy one that wants the stuff, so they take her hostage, and they put a a jawbreaker candy in her mouth, and she chokes on it and dies. And of course, hilarity ensue, and they're trying to cover it up. And of course, Pam Greer, the lady detective, comes in and tries to to see what's what, and that is about it. The movie did not do well at all. Did not do well at all. Where am I? There. I'm going to do this. The next movie is a much better movie. It's a much better movie. It is a Guy Ritchie movie. I think it's his first commercial one that made it to the States. I'm not sure if it's his absolutely first one, but it is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. What a movie. What a movie. And it's so sad because the thing that kind of reminded me of this movie, it's not actually this movie. It's a movie that came out a year after this. A movie called Snatch came out 2000. There was a guy called Terry Hall, front man of the Specials. That it's a band that kind of lost to time, but a ska band. and Guy Ritchie loved using their kind of music to incorporate in his movies. Yeah, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels gave us people like Jason Statham, right? And it gave us Vinny Jones. Vinny Jones made him a star. It wasn't the first movie he was in, but it literally made him a star. Made him a well known person in the United States. Dexter Fletcher and Jason Flaming were kind of known in the UK, but they were not really known outside. I don't think they did much with it, with their kind of familiarity. Nick Moran didn't quite make it into to the United States, but definitely Jason Statham, one of his like I this is the first time I've seen him in anything back in 1999. I have not seen this in 1999. I've seen it a couple of years later because I wasn't really interested, and it was sort of an artsy kind of movie because again, it didn't quite do well in the American market, did quite well in the UK market. Overall, did kind of meh. Then I watched it. I think I even watched it on a VHS. I'm not really sure, VHS or DVD. I don't really remember. And I was just blown away because I've seen Snatch before I've seen this. And I was like, oh, snap. This is something I have got to see. It's a fantastic, fantastic movie. A lot of moving parts, a lot of like it. This is one of the best movies to kind of give you, it's like this movie gives you more of an idea of what style Guy Ritchie has when he is in full control. Like when he's full in control, this one in Snatch is just fantastic. Absolutely great. Right. Next is a small movie called let me just do this. Called Gloria. There we go. Oh, I'm right up here. Let me just be here. All right, cool. Gloria. What is Gloria? Gloria is Sharon Stone starring as Gloria. She was an escort, a prostitute. She had a boyfriend. She lied for her boyfriend. Therefore, she went to prison. And when she came out, the mob is still after her. And lo and behold, she has to take care of Nikki, a stray, a stray orphan that was his family. I think it's part of her family that kind of got gunned down. And she's trying to be better, and she's trying to be there for that kid. Again, movie didn't do well. One of those movies where it was kind of aiming towards the Oscars. Did terribly. It wasn't a good movie. It really, really wasn't. I can't say much about it. I've seen it once. It's like not for me. But again, it's Sharon Stone. There we go. It's Sharon Stone with trying to get out of her shell as the Sharon Stone. This is after Basic Instinct and The Specialist and all that. And she was trying to get rid of the like image of Sharon Stone and maybe try and get an Oscar. Didn't do well. Didn't do well at all. Next one is a small movie by Lawrence Kasdan, of all people. The Lawrence Kasdan. A movie called Mumford. Yeah, you can spot Jason Lee there. He is not Mumford. Mumford, the story is very simple. Mumford is a guy coming into a small town, and he wants to be, the psychologist. He fakes his own diploma, right? And he becomes not one of the top psychologists or psychiatrists of this small little town that has two psychiatrists already. And he just sucks the room because he is approachable and likable. And the problem is, he is so relatable and so approachable. One of his main patients, he falls in love with them. He falls in love with Sophie, played by Hope Davis. And there's a whole slew of characters. We've got Martin Short, we've got Alfred Woodward, Jason Lee that I mentioned, Mary McDonald, Zoe Deschanel, one of her first roles. She's like a little girl. Dana Ivey, Kevin Ty. Really packed up with actors and actresses, but unfortunately, it's one of those movies again that it seems like it was going for an Oscar, but didn't do well. Really didn't do well, even though, again, written by Lawrence Kasdan, directed by Lawrence Kasdan. Like I said, there's lots of these big directors that have their story and they want to tell their story, and it was just money was just given away. Like 230 project, 220, 230, depending on which list you're looking at. It's incredible amount of movies. Just as a comparison, when I did the 1984 list, I think it was 164 movies, and a lot of them were like really low budget, like really, really low budget. I think the breakdance movie that I covered in 1984 was like $44,000 or $64,000, and it made like 3 million, and it was like a big hit. Cool. So that was Mumford. Again, guys, a lot at this point of the list, a lot of these movies are really small time movies. Some of them were like the next one was big hype when they were trying to, they were trying a few things, and some of them worked and some of them didn't work. Like this next one. This is called Light It Up. Light It Up. What is the story here? The story here, and by the way, yes, this is Usher. Yes, this is Rosario Dawson. Yes, Forrest Whitaker is in here as well. Basically a class, a school that has been derelict. It's totally frozen. Even the teachers don't want to teach, and they get fired because they don't want to teach, one by one. And one student just, does a little bit of trouble. Then cops show in to vacate the premises. He grabs a gun, shoots the cop in the leg or in the shoulder or something, and then we've got a hostage situation. And all these students want is somebody to fix a window so they can actually study and be good. It's a lot of racism stuff involved, a lot of teen angst again, a lot of teen angst movies, but I don't think it worked. The only saving grace in this movie, I think the only saving grace in this movie is actually Rosario Dawson. Usher, not an actor. Not an actor. But again, there was a time where rappers and R&B singers and other singers wanted to like explore their acting chops, and it didn't do well. Let's just say that it didn't do well at all. And on the way, just add to that list. By the way, add to that list. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, that's bad. I pressed the wrong button. Add to that list. There we go. That should do it. Add to that list. Comedians. Here we go. Eddie Griffin in Foolish. You want to know? You want to know what it's all about? Hey, Bella, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. If you want to jump into the stream itself and just help, come and talk to me, you're more than welcome. Just tell me and I'll send you the link over on DMs. But if not, just enjoy the ride. Cool. So Eddie Murphy and Master P. Master P plays his like brother slash manager, and all he wants to do is literally make Foolish into a movie. So it's a movie about with a comedian trying to make a movie with a comedian. Very complicated. It's basically a movie about Eddie Griffin's act in 1999. That was basically it. Did it do well? Oh, hell no. Is it funny? Eddie Griffin in 1999 was hilarious. In this one, the acting is very bad. It's very bad. However, later on in Undercover Brother, hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Oh, I just hope I don't need to pee during the show. Right, cool. Next one. We go up a level. We go up one level, and we're talking about a movie. I'm not sure if it made it to the Oscars or not. Oh, our first bot. Oh, here we go. Getaway. We've got no mods tonight, so we're all good. Let me check this. Bank boonk bound. There we go. Oh, get away. Go away. Go away now. As the drinker says. Right, where were we? There we go. This movie is called Topsy Turvy. Topsy Turvy. The director is Mike Lee, a very famous UK director, another UK director. The actors and actresses are, you might have seen them later on in Harry Potter. I'm not going to say the names. Dexter Fletcher in this, by the way. We just said, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. A lot of working actors. So Jim Broadbent was Slaghorn. Timothy Spall was Ratface. So a lot of people that played in this movie later on did Harry Potter. Some of them, not all of them. What is Topsy Turvy all about? Well, basically, it's a story about Gilbert and Sullivan during a point in their relationship where they were down and out and not doing so well. And the whole story is about how they came up with one of their most famous comedy operas called Mikado, about, you can tell from the picture what it is all about. Gilbert and Sullivan, very well-known pair of writers, directors, so basically a composer and a director. And that's about it. That's all I can say. The movie is, because it's Mike Lee, the movie is a bit weird. And for some people, it's going to be a hard watch, especially because it's about 2 hours. It's 240. Holy hell. It's a long movie, and it's packed full of dialogue because it's Mike Lee, and Mike Lee is really good with dialogue. But very special movie. Did it do well? I don't think it did well in the box office. I think, it won 2 Oscars. You can see here, it won 2 Oscars, 13 wins, 28 nominations, a full-on Oscar movie. Full-on Oscar movie. I didn't notice. I should have noticed this before in the other ones. Let me test it out. Is Mumford won one award? I wonder for what. Interesting. Very interesting. See, I see, this is why people need to be in the chat and call me out on this. So we'll see if they won any Oscars. Most of these first ones, probably. Oh, this next one is a definite It's like a super Oscar-y movie by director David Lynch, although he did not write the story. What is the name of this movie? It is called The Straight Story. Right. The story is very simple. The story about two brothers. One of them is up there, and the other one is all the way over on the other side of. It's basically, I think this guy comes from Iowa, and his brother is in Wisconsin, so pretty far off. Um, the brother, not this dude, the brother had a heart attack. And this guy also has lots of, like, he has diabetes issues. He's sick. He's basically on the end of his rope. Plus, the brother is also was definitely on death's door. So what he does is he leaves everything behind, gets on a tractor, like a not even a tractor. It's like a lawnmower. It definitely says a lawnmower here. It's a lawnmower. Gets on the lawnmower, puts everything in the back, and just rides to his brother. And he meets people along the way, people who help him, people who, like, he helps them, talks to them. It's a very unique movie, and it literally, you watch it and it was like, yeah, this is like meant to win something. It says nominated for one Oscar. I don't know for which one. It really doesn't matter. Probably about writing, definitely not directing, because it's not super, like, unique in terms of directorial things, but the story is very, very unique. It it is shot very well. There are shots sort of similar, like the poster itself. So there's shots of him on the road with the lawnmower. It's very, very unique. Cool. Let me just bring you the next batch, because, oh, by the way, I didn't touch upon this. It's something that I pulled up because I don't know why it was on Box Office Mojo and not IMDb. The 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 least amount of money made is by this thing. It's a French movie. It's a French movie that was released in the United States, and you know that doesn't really work all the time. It is Asterix and Obelisk versus Caesar. It is not the cartoon version, it's the real life version. Now, to tell you the truth, all these French actors I don't really know, apart from one, Gerard Depardieu, and he plays Obelix. It is very stupid, like super, super stupid. Hail, Brian. Hail, hail, hail. This made the least amount of money out of all the movies that I've seen that are worth anything. So some movies on the list, on the box office list, did like $10,000. I've not even considered putting them on. I technically I had them on my list, but I just didn't. Richard Farnworth got the nomination for Straight Story. Thank you, Bryant. Thank you. Awesome, man. Awesome. Right, boys and girls. Oh, if you're watching, please, if you have any extra information about any movie that comes up, trust me, like I said, there are about 150 movies on my list. I can't remember every single one and all the plot points. Please save me. I even forgot Varsity Blues, which is coming up. I completely forgot the storyline. I had to actually super read it. Now let me pull up a few more movies. Sadly, I'm not Ryan Cannell with 17 million 17 million tabs. I don't like it. It just slows my computer down to a freaking crawl. Let me have that. Let me pull up like 4 or 5. Let me do 6. And let me do that last one. There we go. All right, cool. Next movie on the list. Next movie on the list of this amazing year. Hey, Joel. How you doing, Joel Reese? Yeah, Varsity Blues is coming. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. Lisa Bremen Garcia and Shauna Larson wrote this. It is 200 cigarettes. This cast is fucking insane. Another one of those Oscar movie stuff. Look at this list. Ben Affleck, Casey Affleck, Guillermo Diaz, Dave Chappelle, Jenny Blong, Elvis Costello, Janine Garofalo, Kate Hudson, uh, loads and loads. Oh, Courtney Love, amazing. Catherine Kellner. This movie is one night, one party, and lots of couples hooking up. Lots of them. Oh, Christina Ricci's in this. Christina Ricci do it. This is fat Christina Ricci, not super thin Christina Ricci. Um, she's doing a hilarious Brooklyn accent. She is so good, and she's in such a small role in this movie. It's insane. It's sort of like lots of people come to a party, but they get stuck along the way, and the woman who like throws the party is so stressed out that like everybody's gonna have a good time, but then nobody shows up, and she's stressed about people not showing up. This is like there are cell phones, but this is sort of like pre-cell phone age kind of a movie where nobody calls nobody, and people arriving to the party and coming into like I think Christina Ricci and her like companion or girlfriend come to the wrong place and the wrong time. It is insane. Underrated movie of 1999. I think it's The Insider. We'll get to it. It's on the list. It's on the list. Um, it is sort of an Oscar movie. However, I think it's one of the better ones that got tossed aside. That kind of got tossed aside. But yeah, the next one didn't was not tossed aside, but didn't win any awards. This one is a very special one. It is Run, Lola, Run. It is a German film. It's a German film, but it's sort of exploring, but not really. Not really. I wanted to say multiverse. It's not exploring multiverse. It explores what happens if a what if, sorry, a what if. What happens if I choose a different path? So the basic story is Lola has a boyfriend. The boyfriend has money that belongs to a drug dealer. She wants to. He lost it at a train, or forgot it at a train, and she's trying to get 100,000 Deutschmarks to pay back the drug dealer before everything kind of gets haywire, and she's trying to prevent her boyfriend from doing like stupid shit to get that 100,000 back. And all she does is just she runs, and there's a certain point where there's choices made, and the story goes basically in three different directions, and there's three different stories with Lola and what happens during that run. Very interesting movie. Not for everybody. A very short movie compared to most 1999 movies. 1 hour 20. When I did the research coming into this movie, I sincerely thought the movie was around 48 minutes. I don't know why it came up in my head that it was 48 minutes, but yeah, an hour 20, still very short, and it's super high paced. The music, the soundtrack in this is like super like or like house, trance, all that good stuff. And don't worry about it, Saf. You don't have to be here every single time. I mean, I do enjoy having a mod around and not having to deal with sex bots and everything. But don't worry about it. Everything is under control. Whew. All right, cool. That was Run Lola Run. Again, didn't do well at the box office. It's not a box officey kind of a movie, but yeah, it was going for awards. One of those movies where it's going for awards. A movie that was not really going for awards, but was nominated is a very interesting movie called there. Interesting movie called Pushing Tin. Now, you would think a movie about air traffic controllers would be, boring. But if you put into the mix Billy Bob Thornton, John Cusack, Kate Blanchett, and Angelina Jolie, you would say, oh, interesting. Interesting. Director Mike Newell, again, a UK director, if I'm not mistaken, done a lot of like artsy stuff, artsy movies. The whole premise of the movie is John Cusack is Nick Falzone, in the zone Falzone or end zone Falzone or whatever his name is. He's a really accomplished, organized air traffic controller. He is the best. In comes in Billy Bob Thornton, Russell Bell, and he's a loose cannon, but also he is fucking insane at his job. Hey Tom, how you doing? Cusack, the movie sucked. Yes, dude, the movie kind of sucked. They explore the whole, you know, fucking with your wife type of deal, all that stuff, the and it's really down to Billy Bob Thornton fucking with John Cusack in terms of their characters. They're so dichotomous, so they're both kind of on the opposite like spectrum of, one is organized, one is a loose cannon, but he's a loose cannon, but he is still really good at his job. So he puts John Cusack at the test. Plus, he's courting his wife, and hilarity ensues. Is the movie good? No, it is not. Did it do well in the box office? No, it did not. No, it did not. Ah. Here we go. Next one. This one is a fun one. This one is actually a fun one. This is Russell Crowe before he was the Gladiator. But this is the same year as The Insider. Saf, get on it. This is called Mystery Alaska. And the tale is a small little town in Alaska with really good hockey players, really young hockey players. And in comes what's his face? Hank Azaria's character. Yeah, Hank Azaria comes into town and he brings in what bot? Oh, he maybe it only appears to me, but they're hidden. Anyway, in comes Hank Azaria and he brings the New York Rangers to play this small little town of Mystery, Alaska. And who's the manager? Who's the coach? Oh yeah, it is Russell Crowe. He is the he's the papa of the group, but of course, because he needs to lead the group on the field, in comes the judge, played by Burt Reynolds, playing Burt Reynolds in a Burt Reynolds movie. And he steps in to be the coach. And it is a tale of, it's basically Rocky, but with ice hockey. So it's hockey. It's basically Rocky versus Apollo Creed in ice form. It's a fun little movie. It's not the best. It's not like amazing, but Russell Crowe actually steals the show. He's really, really good at it. Like he's really good at it. It's heartwarming, it's fun, and the only like interesting part about this is the boys from Mystery Alaska are trying to beat the New York Rangers. They didn't have the actual New York Rangers coming to do the part. They have like people in a New York Rangers kind of jerseys, but it's not the New York Rangers. They absolutely refused to be in this movie. All right. Another teen angst. We're coming into another teen angst movie. Another one. It is called Teaching Mrs. Tingle. Teaching Mrs. Tingle. Ah. Helen Mirren plays Mrs. Tingle, by the way. She is hilarious in this one. Katie Holmes is billed in this one. She's like the nerd of the school, and Mrs. Tingle because she is a badass and she is like a crazy old bat teacher coming in, and she kind of finds that Katie Holmes is cheating, but she really didn't cheat. And they go over to her house to, to convince her, and they kind of kill her. They kind of kill her. I think they kill her. I'm not sure. Maybe they just knock her out. This is the part where I don't remember. If you guys want to tell me about this movie, like the ending, I think they kill her, and then they're gonna stuck with what to do. But there's like the whole first half of the movie is setting up the point, and then they go over to their house, through her house, and hilarity ensues, and then we need to dispose of this, if I'm not mistaken. Was it a good movie? Oh hell no. But it's a teen angst kind of another one of those. There's so many on this list, it's insane. Right. Now, this next one kind of fits the bill with what we think about Mr. Brandon Fraser, Mr. Whale himself. This next one, oh boy, this was terrible. I admit it. I've never seen this movie. I've only seen trailers and I've seen one clip. This movie is called Dudley Do Right. Now, Dudley Do Right, this is a real life version of Dudley Do Right, where Dudley Do Right is a cartoon character from something in Bullwinkle. Oh, no, I forgot. See, I forgot. Chat, tell me about this. Something with Bullwinkle. Their antagonists are Boris and Natasha. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yes, I got it before the chat. Rocky and Bullwinkle. Dudley Do What was in the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon. It was one of the characters there. They tried to do a real life version. It sucked. It sucked. Mega balls. However, Dudley Do Right did more in the box office than any other movie up till this point. And that's hilarious. That is hilarious thing to think about. Dudley Do Right, which was awful. It was awful. And it did more than the previous ones that I've done. And I've went through Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing to add about this movie. Like, seriously, this was really bad for Brendan Fraser. But there's a saving grace, because on the top of the box office list, there's a movie. You can guess it if you want. There's a movie that did really spectacularly well that Brendan Fraser was a part of, and Dudley Do Right was not the downfall. Was definitely not the downfall, but it kind of reminds you of the movies he did later on that were definitely the downfall. Definitely. Next. Um, here we go. Three to Tango. Not much to add to the story here. Basically, it's a love triangle between Nev Campbell, Matthew Perry, and Dylan McDermott. And the movie is not really good, not really memorable. The only thing that I have to say about this movie is all three of the main cast members are definitely were cast there. Bella is correct. I'm going to put you up on the screen, Bella. Yes, it was The Mummy for Brandon Fraser. Correct. Good one. Good one. The only thing about this movie is definitely the cast to bring people into the theaters. This is a rom-com. Matthew Perry came in from Friends. Nev Campbell came in from Table for Five, and Dylan McDermott came in from The Practice. If you haven't heard about The Practice, it's a show about lawyers. About it's about lawyers, but not prosecutors, but defenders. The show was excellent. Dylan McDermott in this movie, terrible. This whole movie is terrible, basically. It kind of highlighted the fact that TV stars in movies, you need to get them the good role, otherwise it sucked. Otherwise, like it's a rom-com. It's a definite rom-com. Dylan McDermott could have played Superman if he bulked up. I think so, Joel. I think he had the chisel face, he had that square jaw, he had that little dimple. Could have done it, but he didn't have he wasn't bulking up. Here we go. I wouldn't call this next one a teen angst movie, but it's a funny movie. I've seen it only once. I admit it. I've seen it only once. It's called Drop Dead Gorgeous. It's all about ladies who want to win a pageant show. It says it won awards. I'm not sure which awards. I'm gonna press it. Oh, it's the Stinker Bat Award. All right, cool. Okay, it won really stupid awards. Only memorable thing about this: Kristen Dunst, then Denise Richards, Ellison Jenny, Alan Barkin, Kirstie Alley. Rip, Kirstie Alley is in this. Brittany Murphy's in this. Amy Adams, like a lot of well-known starting actresses and a lot of like, let's say, heavy hitters. For this is 1999, so Ellison Jenny. I don't think the West Wing was there. I think it came in after 2000, so maybe not that well known, but Kirstie Alley, Alan Barkin. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Cool. Let's have, and the last one in this particular batch before I have to load up new stuff. This one is just plain old dumb. It is Universal Soldier: The Return. Because they didn't say quite just enough in the Universal Soldier. So they had to bring more Universal Soldiers. This movie sucks. It's not even a good Van Damme movie. It really isn't. Like, if you've got Bill Goldberg in your movie, you're pretty much down. And poor Michael Jai White. Poor Michael Jai White. Didn't he suffer enough playing Spawn? Poor Michael Jai White. Oh my God. What do I have to say about the movie? It's terrible. It's not a really good action movie. It's a dumb, fun action movie. It bombed compared to like the budget. The budget was like, it wasn't insane, but oh, the next one is good. The next one is really good. It again, didn't do a lot of didn't do well at the box office. All of these movies, again, none of them a lot of heavy hitters. Not a lot of them are like you would imagine did well or like box office material. A lot of these in this next batch is filled with like I want to win some sort of an award, and sometimes it works, and sometimes not so much. Not so much. Ooh. All right. Who do we love in 1999? Give me, before I put it up, give me one movie that is from 1999 and it's the epitome. I went through about 4 or 5 articles ranking like the best movie of 1999. This next movie came in third on most of these lists, and it is criminally underrepresented when it comes to box office. Remember this; these are all ranked in box office. Just give me, guys, give me one movie that you remember that this is like epitome 1999, and I'll have another sip of this delicious water. All right, Saf coming in hot. We went through a bunch of these when we did our show on Saturday. A lot of these came up. Green Mile came up. Fight Club came up. We already did a Fight Club episode. Yeah, yeah. A lot of these are. These two are in the top 10. Fight Club is number 1 on most lists, by the way. It's not on my list on the first. Not because it's not one of my favorites. It's because it didn't do a lot of money. This next movie, yes, I'm tensing you. It is Office Space by Mike Judge. American Pie, yes, American Pie is a 1999 movie, correct. Office Space, yes, the story of Office Space. It is so good. This movie is so good. Ron Livingston does a fantastic job at it. Jennifer Aniston, Anjay Naidu, Dietrich Bader, Gary Cole. Fucking Gary Cole is so good in this one. Oh, Stephen Root. Stephen Root. Yeah, I think you took my stapler. I think I'd like you. You guys can quote this. Like, there's lines in this one you can fucking quote in this one. It is so goddamn good. It is so good. I haven't watched it in so long. It is definitely on my watch list for like January. I've got like movies that I have to watch, but this one is definitely out there. It is so fucking good. Mike Judge is just so hilarious in this one. And again, critically acclaimed. Maybe it took off after it went off the box office. It didn't do well at the box office. I think it actually lost money at the box office, if I'm not mistaken. Phenomenal film. Next one. This one is super duper relevant for today. Boys Don't Cry. Boys Don't Cry, the story of Brendan, played by Hilary Swank. Got loads of nomination, won 1 Oscar for, I don't know for which one, for not best movie, best actress. Yes. Best actress. Brendan is a trans man, or a woman turning into a man, or it's more like wanting to turn into a man, wearing clothes, having the haircut, so presenting as a man, even having a dildo stuffed down our pants, but not taking any hormones, not doing the surgery because they're in a poor environment. It is a bit of a gun. It's a lot of gut wrenching things. If you're not into it, okay, fine. But if you want a store like a good hearty story, this one's for you. This one's for you. And to me, the problem for me, a lot of the people who want like representation and diversity and all that stuff, this movie is never mentioned. This movie is never, ever, ever mentioned. This is a full on story about the trans community and the trials and tribulations of I don't feel like a woman, I want to turn into a man, but I'm in a very poor environment, I'm collecting money, and I want people to treat me like a man until I actually do the surgery. And the problems that it comes with it, especially in 1999. Especially in 1999. And again, it bothers me to no end that this movie is never, ever mentioned. And it sucks because overall, it's a really good, dark, dark story about the human nature and the human experience. Uh, you might not like it because you're not into the whole trans thing. Fine. But it's really good. You should definitely watch it once just to get the experience. And you know what? Even if you're not into it, you should definitely watch it and you're like, okay, now I have something more in the arsenal that I can deal with when it comes to whatever progressive stuff. What the fuck? Like anything that is progressive and all that stuff for today. Really good. Sadly, because they would claim it's cis white female playing the role. They say this. They said the same thing about what's her face, one of the actresses from Desperate Housewives did a movie. I think it's called not Transphobia or Transamerica. Transamerica. It's the actress that did the shenanigans with the colleges and the daughter. I don't remember, like, I'm me and names, and then was actually sent to jail for like a few months. Uh, Gabby something, I think. I'm really bad at it, but yeah, like she played a trans woman, so she played a woman, a man that turned into a woman and was dealing with it. Transamerica. I don't have it pulled up because we're talking about 1999. What about flops? You know what? Let's talk about flops. If we're talking about flops, we're calling the big guns here. We're calling to Freddie Prinze Jr. and Wing Commander. Holy fucking shitballs. Wing Commander was a very successful game. I played it only on PC. It was a fucking fantastic game. And they absolutely fucking destroyed it. This was the era of, oh, this game is popular. Let's make it into a movie, put it on screen, and it fucking flopped. They made, oh my God, it lost a whole bunch of movies. Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard, oh my God, and Saffron Burrows. I think she was in, don't remember where I've seen her in. Lori Loughlin? No. Lori Loughlin is the girl from Full House that got caught in the scandal. There was another woman, the actress I talked about that actually went into jail that played in Transamerica was married to William H. Macy, which will come up. William H. Macy stars in this list. He done so many movies in 1999. It's crazy. Wing Commander, terrible movie. Fucking awful movie. What makes a game based? Yes, this is a game based movie. Another one that flopped. This was one of the first ones that they were like, oh, the game is so fucking, popular. Wing Commander was really popular. I think it's got like 3 Wing Commanders, and I think 1 and 2 is like the best. And the third one was not so good. Third one is not so good. Right. Next one. Oof. This one I absolutely like, and I know a lot of people don't. It's called The Muse. Directed by Albert Brooks, written by Albert Brooks and another person. It's like Monica McGowan Johnson, and stars Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks is a very unique actor where he plays Albert Brooks in everything that he does. The whole story with The Muse is Albert Brooks plays a writer. By the way, he plays a writer in a lot of his movies for some reason, maybe because he's a writer. And he lost it, and he turns into a friend of his, Jeff Bridges, by the way. And Jeff Bridges is like, yeah, you might want to hire this girl. She's a muse. It's like, what? It's like she inspires people to write good stories. And she's like, she helped me and all that stuff. So he pays for her to be, literally, he pays for her to be at a hotel. So acting like a mistress, but all they do is just talk, and she gives him ideas. Like, he comes up with the ideas himself just by talking to her. The thing is, his wife finds out, and she kind of accuses him of, infidelity and all that stuff. But then she realizes what's going on. She's like, oh, don't put her in a hotel. We'll have her at our own house. So she puts it up in her own house. It's pretty funny. I like it. It's a fun little movie, sort of like rom-commy, but not really, because there's no extra development here. The character of Albert Brooks kind of stays loyal to Andy McDowell, but he seems to be cheating, but he's not really cheating, and that's where the comedy kind of lays. It's pretty nice. It's pretty good. It's worth, even if you're not into it, worth another watch. I like it. Do I want to cover this? I'll cover this in just a brief. The King and I. Adaptation of the King and I musical. This one is in animated form. One of the relics of, I think this one is Disney. I'm not sure. I haven't looked. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's another adaptation of The King and I. They even model the animation. If you watch the original King and I, or the King of Siam, I think it's called, in some places, it's a very famous role by Yul Brynner. Literally, the King and I looks like the animated version looks like Yul Brynner in the real life version from 1956. No, it's not Disney. It's not Disney. You're right, Brian. Yeah, I'm looking at the small titles. It's like an independent one. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Listen, it made more money than Office Space. Just have that in your head. All right, cool. Next one. This one I haven't seen in a long, long while, and I love this movie. This next movie, this Meffy loves all things Disney. No. Oh, Tom, you remember I told you I'm going to do this 2 weeks ago when we talked with Culture? Yeah. Wait, the good stuff is coming. 230 movies compared to 164 in 1984. Just wait. This one is fucking great. Didn't do well at the box office, but whatever. Dude, elections. Reese Witherspoon, and Matthew Broderick, and fucking Chris Klein from American Pie. I think this one came out before American Pie. Don't remember. This one is fucking good. So Reese Witherspoon plays the class president. She usually gets unopposed, running again for class president, and the teacher Matthew Broderick decides she needs a little bit competition because she's bossy, she's annoying, she's being a fucking bitch. So he brings the jock Chris Klein to run against her, and hilarity ensues. It is fucking great because every time Reese Witherspoon's character finds another way to like overcome her unpopular opinions and Chris Klein's like jock popularity. Matthew Broderick kind of like the teacher kind of sabotaged this thing is fucking awesome. It is so good. Again, haven't watched it in a long while. This is again on the list to go and watch with my wife. I watched it first time like on cable. I haven't watched it in the theater. Watched it on cable with my wife. It is fucking good. I think I watched it like in 2004 or something. It is fucking good. It is so goddamn good. This one I'm gonna mention like a tiny bit. Midsummer Night's Dream. Um, there was a time of revival throughout the 90s to take Shakespeare's work and put it up on screen and do it like verbatim. So they did Hamlet with Mel Gibson and Robin Williams. They did Much Ado About Nothing with Kenneth Branagh, Emma Thompson, Keanu Reeves, Denzel Washington, and this one is packed full of people. So Calvin Klein, Michelle Pfeiffer, Stanley Tucci with Puck. That's like the most memorable thing I can remember. Christian Bale, Callista Flockhart. This is where they try to push Callista Flockhart after she did Ally McBeal. Did not work at all. Sam Rockwell, Bernard Hill, Bill Irvin. It's fucking packed with people. It's Midsummer Night's Dream by Shakespeare. Completely verbatim. Is it interesting? No. And another one that tried to do something special, didn't do well. This one, 13th Floor. They open a new dimension, like a portal to another dimension in the 13th floor of this office building. Eh, eh. It was on my list. I remember it fondly, mostly remembered. You know what I remember mostly is the goddamn poster. That's it. That's it. And the fact that our man here, Vincent D'Onofrio, was in a blonde, long-haired wig. It is fucking funny. That's about it. I mean, I don't have anything. I don't know why it's still on the list, but it's on the list. Right. Remember Teen Angst? We've got a few of those still left in the can. One of them is this. Melissa Joan Hart, fresh out of Sabrina, and Adrian Garnier before he did the Entourage. This is before the Entourage. This movie did not do well. It did just enough to cover the spread, I believe. Um, that's about it. I don't have anything to say. Forgettable movie. Another one of those teen movies, rom com deals. Eh, I guess. Again, I'm sorry if I don't have anything to say about. There's tons of movies. This next one, sort of a documentary. I haven't seen it in a long while, and the most memorable thing about this thing is actually the soundtrack, the CD that came with this is incredible. Really good Cuban Cuban music. Really, really good Cuban music. It's a documentary about this band who got this band back when Castro went to power, coming back, coming back together at old age to like for one last hurrah. That's about it. Do I remember what exactly the story of it? Couldn't tell you. Is there good fucking Cuban music in it? Fantastic. Fantastic. You can put it on now in the background and it is fucking good. It is fucking good. And it's been used in other movies if you wanted like good like background Latin, sort of like Latino Latin music. Fantastic. I heard Buena Vista Club when there was a time that I did security duty at a restaurant and Buena Vista Club was in the rotation. So an 8-hour shift, you probably would have listened to Buena Vista Club once every 2 or 3 days. I think I listened to it every single day for about 2 years. I think. I think every time I had a shift, especially in the evenings for sure. Next movie. Next movie is fucking awesome. Being John Malkovich. It is so low on the list here because it didn't do as well as it should have. This is a total Oscar movie, nominated for 3 Oscars, didn't win anything. John Cusack, John Malkovich, insanely great actor. And he basically played a multitude of roles because the whole point is some guy finds a portal, and when he walks into the portal, he literally walks into John Malkovich, the actor's head, and he is literally controlling his body. That's the whole premise of the movie, and hilarity ensues. It has Cameron Diaz in it, and everybody that walks into into John Malkovich, most of them are like derelict, like bad looking, not taking good care of themselves people, but they're into this really famous Hollywood actor in his mind, and they're like completely going off. Thought about the ending of Being John Malkovich. If I can be honest, I don't remember the ending. I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it in a long, long while. I don't remember the ending. Uh, who's who's in this? Ned Bellamy, Catherine Kinnear. Who else that kind of jumps in? Willie Garson. I haven't watched Being John Malkovich in a long while. I absolutely don't remember what is the ending. Does he go nuts in the ending? I really don't remember. It's one of those movies where I remember I remember the ride. I remember John Malkovich going crazy in a restaurant. Again, haven't seen it in a long, long while. I'm absolutely shocked that like there are few movies here that did okay in the box office, but better than Being John Malkovich. I'm trying to remember, was was the ending not satisfying, or did John Malkovich go into John Malkovich's own head and he gone crazy? I really don't remember. Let's pull up the next batch. Let's stop there. A movie that I really like. Good. I pulled up like four, five, six, seven of these in batches, and like the last one is like a movie that I really like. I really need to rewatch Being John Malkovich. Next one, fan favorite for everybody else. I didn't connect to it. A lot of people like this movie. I know. I know. It's so iconic. The Iron Giant, giant robot wakes up to life, and he has a human friend, and it's uh, again, to be honest, I watched this only once, didn't quite connect to it, don't really remember what it's all about, but it keeps getting referenced over and over and over again. It is so highly referenced, it actually appeared in Ready Player One at the battle at the end, if I'm not mistaken. It is, I apart from reading the synopsis, it doesn't really bell. Not not a fan of Election. Wow, Tom, that came in really late. Go. Not really a teen angst movie, but it's filled with young actors at the start of it. The story, not so good. The actors is what's important. Ty Diggs, Scott Wolf, Katie Holmes again, Jay Moore, Timothy Oliphant, Robert Peters. Again, a lot of people that did a lot of TV work and then got this movie that is like basically uh sort of a love triangle thing in the new coming millennia, right? It's a lot of like Gen Xers doing Gen Xers thing at their like, you know, at their at the end of the thing. It's an aftermath after a drug deal, basically, movie, and what happens. It's a lot of eh, it's a, it's an okay movie, I guess. I would rather watch The Iron Giant. I would rather watch The Iron Giant. Uh, there, I put the next one on the list. I could have given up on Go and this one. This one is Superstar. I when it comes to SNL based movies, it is really down to the creator. And I don't like Molly Shannon. And I really don't like Will Ferrell. This whole like late 90s, early 2000 batch of SNL people couldn't quite connect to them. So it's a basic story about a nerdy girl and that has dreams about being a big star, and that's about it. I don't I don't really like the SNL people. It really didn't make me laugh. It's sort of the time, 1999, 2000, 2001, all of these years. It could have gone out on all of these years and it would have been roughly the same type of humor. And it really is not my kind of humor. Like I know it's Christmas. You can toss Elf into the same category. It's not the same movie, Same kind of Will Ferrell-y SNL late 90s kind of comedy, which I particularly don't like. Elf, yes, Christmas, blah blah blah. Eh. It's, for me, same type of comedy. I'm gonna get flamed now. I'm sorry. Next one though, and guys, especially Tom, please, I know what you think about him today. I think the same way. But this one is one of my favorite Kevin Smith movies. One of my favorite, if not my favorite Kevin Smith movie, because I love everybody involved in it. Everybody. Everybody. I like Ben Affleck in this one. I like Matt Damon in this one. I like Linda Fiorentino. And I adore, adore two actors that have very small little roles in it. I love George Carlin in it because he plays the absolute antithesis of who he is. He plays the cardinal, where in real life he is like anti-religion. Was obnoxious and unlikable. I fucking love this movie. Selma Hayek is adorable in this. Chris Rock rocks it in this. I love this movie so much. I'm not a fan of movies about characters or nothing, but Mean Streets are the boy. It's the Kevin Smith universe. You either like it or don't like it. And this is why it did so mediocre, because I think a lot of people went to see it because it riled up the Catholic Church and all the like sort of protests. It wasn't really like really good protests, but it sort of had a little bit of hype. And I missed saying fucking Rickman. Rickman in this is, oh, he is so good. Alan Rickman is such a great job in doing the Metatron. I love this movie. I adore this movie. It's a look, Tom. I think the reason I love this movie so much is I really enjoy it, and my wife really enjoys it. So watching this with her, just it gets us going. I get it. I get it. I get it with the Kevin Smith thing. I get it. Um, if I think about it, I think I didn't really particularly like Jane Silent Bob Strike Back or whatever. Um, in terms of as a Kevin Smith movie, I liked it because it has Jane Silent Bob in it. But yeah. However, Dogma I love, Clerks I love, and Chasing Amy I love, and I even love Mallrats. It's really down to if you like the writing or don't like the writing, and I do. Um, and I get it that other people don't like it. Next one, I don't know how it went this high up on the list because I know this one flopped. This one is Mystery Men. This is Ben Stiller's. I don't know if he loves comic books or loves superheroes for real, but it's I love this movie. It's stupid. It's really stupid. Let me get the names. Like Ben Stiller plays Furious. Janine Garofalo plays the bowler, and it's her dad's skull within the bowling ball. And if I could get that and play with that kind of bowling ball, I would gladly. I even did a check. How much does it actually cost to own a bowling ball with a skull in it? Like not a fake skull, but a a bowling ball that looks like the bowling ball from this movie. It's about $10,000. I'm not paying $10,000 for a bowling ball. This whole movie is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. It's a bunch of people dressed up like superheroes. They don't really have powers, right? They don't actually have powers, but they believe that they have powers. And the power of belief kind of gives them a way to, to beat the bad guy. It's a cute little movie, and it's a fun movie, and if you're into superheroes, it's a movie for you. It got lost into the shuffle because, again, it's it's not a blockbuster superhero movie. Next one. Next one is Instinct. Instinct. It's about preservation. The whole point is Anthony Hopkins is a guy that went into Africa and he killed poachers, and then they put him in an asylum. And Cuba Gooding Jr. is trying to basically find out why he did what he did. And throughout the interviews, we get to know the story of this man. Um, it's it's an okay movie, and it did quite well. It was going for awards, but it didn't quite make it. It says awards, but I don't think it was nominated for any Oscars. It's an interesting movie, worth a watch if you're into Anthony Hopkins acting. It's all about Anthony Hopkins acting. Otherwise, skip it. The next one is a fun one. The next one is kind of the bridge between the old MTV and the new MTV. It's called Ed TV. The whole story is Ed is just a random average guy, but there's a TV producer that wants to save a network, and all she does is she comes up with the idea of taking a regular Joe and filming him 24 hours a day, sort of like the Truman Show, but like in real life. And he's dealing with the fact that he has cameras in his face all the time. And the boss of the producer's Jenna Elfman. Her boss takes credit for it when it actually succeeds, but he's setting her up in case things kind of fail. And this is Matthew McConaughey being Matthew McConaughey in a movie. I don't even remember. Again, one of those movies where I really don't remember the ending of it, but it's a sort of a ride, rom-commy thing, a Ron Howard movie. You could expect a Ron Howard to be extra sweet and extra thick on the old comedy and romance in the movie. But the real kind of issue with it is, like I said, it kind of bridges the whole reality TV as we know it today and the old reality TV in MTV, where it was what was the name of that show? Um Living in New York. Guys, remember, if you don't remember the show, that's fine. But if you do remember the show, it's an old show from MTV. They take a whole bunch of people, they put them in a house, and they just roll the cameras. And they just pick people that they know that they're going to clash. Um, is it Real Life? Not Real Life. Dogma is his best movie at the point. I don't know if I could even watch it. Yeah, I know. No. Real World. Real World. Thank you. Thank you, Mikey. Real World. Yo, you're behind. No worries. No worries. No worries. But yeah, Ed TV is kind of kind of a bridge. I don't remember when you guys remember when Survivor started. I think the first Survivor started 2000, and when it came out, it was literally like like The Bachelor started a few years later. So all these reality shows kind of started with Survivor, and TV is that bridge between Survivor and the real world. Can't go wrong with a bit of horror. And 1999 had a few horror movies that were kind of meh. Some of them is this House on Haunted Hill. This crazy guy, Jeffrey Rush, comes up with an idea. He's like an eccentric millionaire. What if I put 6 people in a house and I said, if you can survive the night, I will give you $1 million each. And of course, the house is supposedly haunted, but also it's actually haunted. Who will survive at the end? To tell you the truth, I have not seen this movie. I don't know if anybody survives. Probably, if it's a good horror movie, one girl survives. It's sort of like in the same vein as Cube, from what I've researched, because I'm not a horror guy. This is definitely not for my liking. The fact is, Jeffrey Rush, I've seen the trailer. He is hilarious. He is quite hilarious. Next one is Kevin Costner in yet another baseball movie. This one, not that good. Sam Raimi movie, by the way. It is an aging baseball player. He's torn between his loved one that is going to, by the way, Kelly Preston, rest in peace. She scored a job overseas. He's a Detroit Tiger pitcher, and he's at the end of his career, and he has to decide, do I want to like finish my career in the States or join my loved one? Simple rom-com. Is it long? Yes, it is. Do you need to love baseball to love this movie? Kind of. It's Kevin Costner, basically. Yeah, it's Kevin Costner. Uh, Field of Dreams is way better. It's just way better. It's a fact. Right, next one. A movie that I've watched at least 5 times in my life from end to end. There are certain parts of it where I am frustrated, and there are certain parts of it where I'm on the floor laughing. It is absolutely great, and it's called Man on the Moon. It is Jim Carrey's, I believe, his best dramatic role. I do love him in The Truman Show. We had a discussion about it. Is yeah, Tom. At TV is a little, like I said, it's a little bit of a ripoff on the Truman Show, but not really. The setting is a little bit different. The setting is a little bit different. In Man on the Moon, Jim Carrey plays Andy Kaufman, and he has his mannerisms down to a fucking T. Even when he goes into his like alter ego Clifton, he nails it. He nails it. Even Danny DeVito, who plays his manager Shapiro, if you watch like old tapes of Shapiro, it's so down to a T. They did this is such a good biopic, and it shows the behind the scenes of everything. They even bring Jerry Lawler to play in this movie to reprise the behind the scenes joke that they did. I think they bring some of the Taxi cast. It's just so weird because Danny DeVito was in Taxi, and I think he had a mustache back then, so it's kind of and in his Shapiro character, he has a mustache, so it's kind of funny. But it's my favorite Jim Carrey role. It's such a good movie. It shows you how dedicated Andy Kaufman was to making everything a joke, everything. And his sort of him trying to overcome illnesses by meditation, by being focused. It's, to me, still best role for Jim Carrey. Oh My Feelings. I think we discussed this. He loves Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind better in terms of role for Jim Carrey. But I fucking love this movie. I really do. But you need time to watch this movie. You can't just slap it on. You need to really give it some time because it's absolutely great. Right. Let me bring in. We have a full on page and a half more. There, the good movie, literally, not all the good movies. Let's just say that a lot of really recognizable good movies are from here till the end. Right. Let me do this. Let me bring in the next batch. Well, I've just seen one. It's not that good. But recognizable, yes. There we go. A movie that was mentioned before. Two movies that were mentioned before. Oh, two movies that I had to pull in. They're both in the same year. And one Oscar. Let's finish with the Oscar. This batch will be finished with an Oscar winner. We're going to start with an Oscar winner, I think. Right? Yeah, I think. Yep. Girl Interrupted. Winona Ryder plays a girl that enters a. I think she checks herself voluntarily into an asylum or psychiatric hospital, and she's dealing with everyone around her, the nurses, the doctors, and of course all this slew of other troubled girls, heading of course with Angelina Jolie, that got the supporting role, Oscar for supporting role if I'm not mistaken. um Really interesting movie, insightful movie, um about why and how, especially in this early, I think it's in, is it late 60s? Yeah, late 60s, late 60s settings of psychiatric care and psychiatric hospitals in general, and why certain people or certain girls are there and the reasons and why are there. Um Again, if you haven't watched the movie at all, it's really worth a watch. Personally, at like personal taste, not really my taste in movie in a movie. Um, Angelina Jolie knocks it out of the park. You don't believe it's Angelina Jolie. You believe it's her. It's that character. Um, Winona Ryder for me kind of plays Winona Ryder in this movie. Not a lot of range. Not more than usual. At least to me. At least to me. I didn't really like it. I really didn't like it. But it's a really good, solid, well written, well directed, well shot movie. With not a lot of twists and turns, but good. Next one, again, not one of my favorites. Again, William H. Macy is in this. This is, of course, Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. I love Tom Cruise in this one. I really do. I Even though he did a great job, Philip Seymour Hoffman in this, I didn't like the character so much. Again, William H. Macy, you can see how many great actors are in this. Um Kind of a sad movie, so you need you need to give it some time. Uh, who do we got? We got Philip Seymour Hoffman, Jason Robards, Pat Healy, Brad Hunt, Chris O'Hara, um, Julianne Moore. A fucking great movie, sad movie. Uh, what can I say? Why is William H. Macy not in the cast? Weird. He is on screen. Okay. Why is he not? Is it not Will? Is it? Am I crazy? Is it not William H. Macy? Guys, he's not like listed in the poster as well. All right, cool. Weird. It literally is him, right? Um, like I said, it's one of those movies where it's a lot of different characters, a lot of different like stories that are told in like multiple like stories that are on the side, but they're all kind of come together kind of a movie. Really interesting, really long ass movie. And the highlight for me is literally Tom Cruise. He is His range in this movie is absolutely great. Playing the aloof and then kind of being more serious. Again, not a personal favorite of mine. I said it drives me crazy. It literally there is another picture in here. Guys, am I crazy or this is William H. Macy, isn't it? It says William H. Macy. But if you look at the IMDb, he's not there and he's not at the posters. Yeah, the ending is just it's a shit show. It's a shit show. All right, do you want to go light? Let's go light. Let's go light. We're getting close to about 2 hours and I'm like a page and a half away. So we're going to go a bit lightning round a little bit and then I'm going to go take a bathroom break cuz this water is running through me. Hey, we'll make the decision at the end, Tom. Make the decision at the end. 10 things I hate about you. Let's see. Julia Stiles, Larissa Oliniak, when they thought she would be is like an amazing, like up and coming actress. Nope. Only the two highlights in this movie, really, for real, is Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Julia Stiles doesn't do it for me in this movie. Larissa Oliniak, Gabrielle Union, but it is what it is. It's another one of those teen angst fucking movies. It did well in the box office. It did well in the box office. Another rom-com and another the first of two Hugh Grant playing Hugh Grant in a Hugh Grant movie. The first one is Mickey Blue Eyes. The next one will come much later, by the way. Mickey Blue Eyes, a bumbling fool of a Brit, aka Hugh Grant, is dating the daughter of a mobster played by the late great James Caan. Rest in peace. Oh my God. This year, so many people died. So many. And Pele is going to die too. Holy shit. Nothing else to say in this movie. It's a bumbling idiot dating a mobster's daughter, and that's about it. Next. Everybody remembers this, and not for the reason they should. Varsity Blues. James Van Der Beek is taking over for Paul Walker, rest in peace, as the quarterback of a very successful football, like high school football team. John Voight has been coaching like forever. They took like 70 million championships. They want another one. Their star quarterback gets, front loaded and gets fucked. And everything is on the shoulders of James Van Der Beek. Most famous for. Everybody knows the most famous scene is Ali Larder with the whipped cream bikini, because everybody wants a whipped cream bikini. I mean, it's a good football movie. Not gonna lie, it's a fun little movie. However, there's a much better football movie coming soon. Next one. This one is a tough watch. The Story of Us. Story of Michelle Pfeiffer and Bruce Willis. They keep going back and forth about are we finishing this marriage? Are we not finishing this marriage? Taking this couple throughout their 15 years of marriage. There's a lot of dark moments in this. There's a lot of comedy in this. There's a lot of sappy, sad moments in this. And there's a lot of harsh realities for a couple that is on the brink of divorce, but going through the hump of the 15 years. Let me tell you, I gladly did not go through the 15-year hump. Well, I've passed it. Next one is good. Next one is really good. It's all about the tobacco industries and one man's whistleblowing. Russell Crowe is fucking great in this one. Pacino does Pacino stuff. Not like super high. I'm not really high on that particular character. But I do love Russell Crowe in this. You can tell his struggle of, do I want to whistleblow? I want to go up against these like mega tobacco corporations. Christopher Plummer is fucking great in this. He plays the stoic so well. Who else in this cast? Let me see. Philip Baker Hall. Holy shit. That guy's fucking great. Michael Gambon. Phenomenal. Gina Gershon. I remember her. Rip Torn in this one. Colm Feore. Oh shit. Dude. Star-studded cast. Star-studded fucking cast. And this movie is so good. It's so good. If you guys have anything to add, you're more than welcome. It came up earlier when I said 99, a movie from 1999. I think Joel said it's a movie that he remembers. It's The Insider. It's really good. Hard hitting, 2.5 hours. And at some point, you're on your edge of your seats. Like, this guy is going to fucking die. This guy is going to fucking die. Next one. I've seen it more times that I would want to. It's not a great movie. It is The 13th Warrior. It is The 13th Warrior starring Antonio Banderas playing an Arab who joins a bunch of let's call them Vikings. He joins a bunch of Vikings trying to defend the village from this evil, like super, like super crazy, mystical, warriors. And it turns out it's just a bunch of savages, right? And he's the only one that's left at the end. There, I said it. A lot of people didn't like this movie. I didn't like this movie. Is it, if you watch it, is it really that bad? Not really. It's just the futility of what happens in the story is at certain points it's like eh, eh. Right. The next two movies are together because Hollywood being Hollywood, sometimes you get a year before that. So 1998, it was Armageddon and Deep Impact, which were basically the same movie because somebody pitched an idea and two different studios went to, this movie is great. What do you mean? The Insider or the 13th Warrior? Joel Reese coming in hot. The 13th Warrior? Oh, it did. I don't like it. I'm going to be honest. I think I've seen it 5 or 6 times. Never watched it in the theater. I've watched it on cable. So literally, I didn't even DVD it. It's literal cable. I used to have the 13. Yeah, I got you. I got a little bit of a delay. Don't worry about it. I really didn't like it. The fight scenes are good. The fight scenes are well choreographed. The story, I don't think the story is really good. Hey, it's, dude, it's art. We can argue about this forever, right? Forever, which is good because art is subjective and you need more art so a lot more people can enjoy whatever they want to enjoy. Did I like 10 things about I hate about you? No. Did I watch it? Yeah, a couple of times. Did I enjoy Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Yeah. The other actresses? Right. What am I talking about when it comes to 1999 and two movies that are basically the same movie? It is Mila Jovovich's The Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc. And the next one, which did better, which did a little bit better, but not a whole lot better, it is Lily Sobieski's Joan of Arc. It says TV miniseries. It's a movie. It's an actual movie. They came up the same goddamn year. I didn't watch the Lily Sobieski's miniseries. It was literally one movie for me. Let me pull you up. Vladimir Kulich is awesome. Maybe I missed the big burly men fighting. Maybe you like the big burly men fighting. It is like, it's visceral. I have to say, the 13th Warrior is very visceral. And the like, when the wolf people attack, when they have the wolf kind of costumes and they scurry through the woods, it's a nice visual, but I need more than that. I need more than that for a movie. Next one, I have not seen for a very long time. It is Life. Story about two strangers, wrongfully convicted black men that are in prison for life, and their story throughout the years. This is Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, and Bernie Mac, and a whole bunch of let's see who else is in the cast. Uh, Oba Babatunde, Anthony Anderson, Barry Shabaka Henley, Brent Jennings. Who else? Miguel Nunes Jr., Guy Torrey, uh, a bunch of really good African American actors. Awesome movie, heartbreaking at times, and Eddie Murphy not doing a jokey movie. I remember enjoying it very, very much. Again, one of those movies where I have to put it on some sort of list. Otherwise, I would I would miss it again. I need to rewatch this. I remember enjoying this very much. It's it's comedy, but it's mostly drama. It's not very jokey. It has a lot of heart, a lot of like serious drama attached to it. But in some points, it's very light because it's Eddie Murphy, it's Martin Lawrence, it's Bernie Mac. It has to be a little bit of light. It's a wonderful fucking movie. It is very, very good. Next one, Denzel Washington, The Hurricane. The story of the hurricane, the story of the people who were trying to release Hurricane and get him out of prison. Nominated for one Oscar. I think it was for best acting for Denzel, which he didn't win. Um, so sorry about the wrongfully convicted guy, Reuben Hurricane Carter. He was on his way to getting the title where he was pinched for a crime he really didn't commit. And the story is much later in life, the people who were actively trying to release him out of prison. I'm actively trying to release him out of prison. Hard hitting, sort of biopicky, a lot more dramatized. Um, and yeah, again, I I only watched this once. Who do we got? We got Velius Shannon, Liev Schreiber, John Hanna, Demi Morgan, Clancy Brown. I forgot Clancy Brown was in this. Yeah. Rod Steiger is in this. Yeah, really good movie. Enjoyed it. But again, only watched it once. I think I watched it in the theater. I think I went to watch it in the theater with a good friend. All right, cool. I'm going to take a break. I need to pee. I'm going to leave you with this wonderful posters and this chair. So I will be back in about 5 minutes, guys. No, not five, 3 minutes. I don't have the peeing song like Ricada does, so you'll just have to make do. All right. Y'all talk about the end of days yet? Not yet. Not yet. Meffy missed the good one so far. I, there's much more left. All right. Welcome back, guys. Let me load up the next batch and hopefully my computer won't crash from the opening of every single tab. Ooh, the next one. There's a story behind it. Ooh, the next few ones have a story behind it. Uh, ooh, yeah. We're coming up to some stuff that I actually love. I've got a movie here that Saf really loves. I have a movie here that I don't know why it made more money than it did. We've got a Nick Cage movie coming up. And we'll finish with another Eddie Murphy movie. It's weird. A lot of actors had at least a couple of movies in 1999, which is great. All right. Next one. I talked about this. Movies that were made with casting TV actors because they were really popular at the time and the studios wanted to capitalize on their popularity. Case in point, Cruel Intentions. Now, this one I went to the theater to go and watch, and this is fucking only because it was heavily marketed with a lot of implications that it's going to be some sort of a teen uh teen version of Basic Instinct, and it was heavily implied that Sarah Michelle Gellar will have her first nude scene. I remember that distinctly. I rewatched the trailer. The trailer that they have on IMDb is different from the trailer I remembered. Uh, this movie is not that good. It's all about two rich brother and sister having a bet and trying to figure out if you can seduce a virgin. And the virgin is Reese Witherspoon, another actress that had two movies coming out the same year. By the way, Angelina Jolie the same, William H. Macy the same, all in good time. Did I enjoy the movie in the theater? I did not. Is it a really bad movie? I don't think so. I think they expected it to make more money. I'm not sure if it did. It did well, but I think it when I if I'll click on the awards, I would probably get a lot of Razzies out of this one. I think this is not the not the highest grossing movie that actually, so one of those movies that did well in the box office but got a lot of Razzies. It's not the best one of those kind, but it's one of those examples where I think it kind of flopped in the marketing. It was not marketed well, and it's because it kind of, implied that Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to have one of those Sharon Stone moments. But definitely no. Definitely no. The most that you got out of this is Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair having a lesbian kiss. That's it. That is it. Uh See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, Tom. Correct. This is a movie that you took your date to in order to get laid afterwards because it's heavy implied. It's, you know what? This one works on the women's really well, on the men. Again, lesbian kiss kind of works for some people. To me, not so much. But yes, this movie, if you went with a girlfriend or with a date, has a potential getting you laid. Is it good? Eh-eh. It did. Eh. Talking about romantic comedy. One of the first ones that Drew Barrymore did, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the first one that Drew Barrymore did that is like a full-on romantic comedy. It's Drew Barrymore plays a virgin. She's a reporter. She goes into a high school kind of incognito, and she wants to sort of write about what is today, what is hip today in the teenagers. She's like, literally, she's supposed to be like 25, 26-year old reporter, but she was a big nerd in high school, really didn't get anywhere. Again, virgin, all that stuff. And then she falls in love with the teacher, and there's a conundrum there where the teacher kind of have the hots for her, but she's supposed to be a student. It's a fun little rom com. It's a fun little rom com. Um, that's about it. And I think it's one of the. I think this is the stuff I remember. This is like the picture I remember where she doesn't know how to dress, and she is dressing as if she just seen the movie Clueless and thought, "Oh, this is how the young kids might dress in this high school." And no, kind of no. Kind of no. Let me just do this. Next one is a movie that Mrs. Meth loves. I am into it, but I know a lot of people didn't like it. Um, the critics kind of panned it. It's Bicentennial Man. I know people don't like it. I like it. I like it. I like the story that it is based on, loosely based on Bicentennial Man. I've read the actual story by Isaac Asimov. It's a really short story. It's all about it starts off the same way this movie starts, and it ends with the robots doing everything he can to save the little girl while she's a little girl. Um, but they kind of develop into a very much like a Chris Columbus type of drama slash sci-fi slash romantic comedy movie that you would expect from Chris Columbus. I went through some of his work, and yeah, it kind of fits with Chris Columbus, the guy who did Home Alone. It kind of fits with the other of his work, not Home Alone. Yeah. Robin Williams got shit canned. Like he was well aware that people didn't like Bicentennial Man, and it's weird because he loved doing it. And let's just say this is the ending that I completely remember because Mrs. Meth cries every single goddamn time when Robin Williams gets married. He hears that he's getting married, and then he dies. And both of them die. A movie that is critically acclaimed, won 2 Oscars as well, is Cider House Rules, about Tobey Maguire is an orphan in an orphanage. The Michael Caine is the guy who plays the doctor. Charlize Theron plays the nurse, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and the doctor is all about trying to save the world, but Tobey Maguire is trying to leave the house, and he's trying to take the rules that were set in the house into real life. No, Charlize Theron does not play the nurse. She plays his love interest when he goes out of the house. Yeah. Not much I can say about the movie. I've watched it only once on cable. No, on DVD, I think. And it's okay. There's a moment there where you kind of get reacquainted with how they used to do medicine in the early 1900s, where Michael Caine has this mask. It's like a cotton mask, and he puts ether on it, so you literally fall asleep from breathing in ether, which is not good. Not good. But it's the way it is. Next one, a movie that I personally don't like, again, because it's a horror movie. And it did quite well. Some people like it, some people don't like it. It is called Stigmata with Patricia Arquette. Basically, a woman that is going into a house. She's going into this new house. She's afflicted with stigmata, what was in the house, and there's a priest trying to, take care of it and get rid of it. I like Gabriel Byrne in this one. He plays the priest. I don't like Patricia Arquette in this particular one, and I don't like Jonathan Pryce in this one. He's annoying. He's annoying in this one. Otherwise, I don't have any else to say. The next movie, though, I love so much. I don't know why it didn't do so good. It had a few production issues that I remember happening, and it had a not so good of a release date, if I remember correctly. Tom, you must know a little bit more about this, but I love Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest takes the whole Star Wars, not Star Wars, Star Trek fandom and puts it on display, making fun of it, but also adoring it. It comes from a great place, a loving place of adoring it, and putting it as like, what if the Star Trek crew, the original Star Trek crew, right? What if aliens come in and they think the Star Trek crew was really a Star Trek crew, and they take him off into a real Star Trek adventure? That's basically Galaxy Quest. And when it gets stuck, right? When they get stuck with not solving a problem, who can fix it for them? The Uber geeks, the fandom. Like, remember, they're in the room trying to get through the big clamps, and the one like teenager fan has the specific, specific sequence of how to get through into the room where the Omega 13 is, which is the hyperbolic thing, that the MacGuffin that does everything and everything you want. It's not really. It just takes back the time 13 seconds, if I remember correctly, or 5 seconds. And they even say, why would 13 seconds matter, right? And eventually they know exactly why it matters. The one outstanding actor in this one, apart from Tim Allen, which I genuinely don't like Tim Allen as an actor. I didn't like him in Home Improvement. I didn't quite like him in anything else. Not It's like I don't like him in Santa. In this one, I adore him. But above him, above him, Rickman. By Grabthar's hammer, you shall be avenged. Oh. And the thing is, Alan Rickman, if you peel down the layers of whatever he plays here, he actually plays himself as if he was, let's say, uh Patrick Stewart in TNG. It's not the same role because he's not the captain, but he's like traditionally English actor. So Alan Rickman plays a sci-fi role that he has no connection to. It's just a paycheck. Sort of like Patrick Stewart. Watched it recently. It is so fucking good. It dude, it holds up. It really still holds up. All right. The next one is genuinely, if I think about this movie, I think Saphira. My good friend Saphira, Saf, Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo. It's Rob Schneider doing Rob Schneider things in a Rob Schneider movie. It's just fun, hilarious. I remember watching like the original trailers in the theater. It made me laugh so hard. I actually didn't watch it in the theater. Watched it a couple of years later on cable. Enjoyed it, but it was like one of those popcorn movies where I remember it. I remember like having fun with it and laughing. You hate the guy? Oh no. But Sap, this is like literally right up your alley. It's like dumb, fun popcorn movie. It's like a dumb comedy. Straight up dumb comedy. Next one is a dumb rom-com. Ben Affleck. This is the third movie he has done that came out in 1999. Say what you say about Ben Affleck. He did this, he did Dogma, and he did one of the early ones, and he did 200 Cigarettes. Came out the same goddamn year. I don't get what anybody says. This movie is hilarious. No, Deuce Bigelow is fucking hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But do I remember what exactly happened? I wasn't that invested. Again, one of those movies that if it comes up and it's a fun little like I want to pass the night, I don't want to think about too much. That's a fun little comedy to watch. Deuce Bigelow, it's a fun little comedy to watch. This movie, that I don't even have anything to. Another Sandra Bullock. You know what? If you would have replaced Sandra Bullock with a younger Meg Ryan, it would still work. The next one, though, is fucking great because my man, Nicolas Cage, 8mm. A private investigator, comes up with an 8mm movie where it's sort of a snuff porn movie, and he investigates if the girl there is alive or dead. And it's really, really good. He goes into the seedy underworld of like hardcore pornography that goes on the down low. I think one of the better movies for Joel Schumacher, not gonna lie. James Gandolfini. Oh my God. James Gandolfini is so great in this one. Joaquin Phoenix is great as like this snivelly little character that goes around he's Nicolas Cage's connection to this whole world, and James Gandolfini is like the big baddie in this one. Oh, it's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. It's too heavy for you. Yeah, it's really heavy. It's really really heavy. It's like quintessential like Nicolas Cage role. Um if I put this up against what did you do around the start, like Snake Eyes, which Snake Eyes is more like a detective-ish movie again. Well, kind of. If I put this against Snake Eyes, I would watch this over Snake Eyes. They're not the same theme, but yeah, I would say I would put this over Snake Eyes. I would put this over uh Leaving Las Vegas. I would enjoy, I think you'll get more enjoyment, more fulfillment from this than from Leaving Las Vegas. You are a liar, sir. You are a liar. Shut up. Go away. Go away now. Next movie. I can't fucking believe this made more money than any other movie that you've seen so far. This thing is terrible. Terrible. I mean, the original Inspector Gadget, the cartoon Inspector Gadget, wasn't that bad. It wasn't amazing. This movie is fucking awful. This movie is fucking awful, dude. It's so bad. It's just bad all around. And yes, Tom, I admit, I don't know what. You know what? I'll check. I'll check now. Let's see. This is Inspector Gadget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Let me go back to the list. I'm pulling up my list for box office. Let's say if this was about 35, 36 in terms of like grossing numbers, compare that to the list in 1984. Just to compare, all right? So we have Teachers. Teachers with Nick Nolte. We got Pinocchio re-release. Doesn't really count because it's a 1941 movie. Mickey and Maude, The Cotton Club, and Muppets Take Manhattan compared to 1984. I'm going to keep that list because I need comparison. Right? I need comparison. And the last one on this batch, a lot of people's favorite. I particularly don't like this movie. I like a certain aspect of it. It is Bowfinger. Bowfinger is all about Steve Martin being an agent. He's trying to come up with this movie, and to make the movie sell. The movie is terrible and it is like low budget, but he is trying to get Eddie Murphy as like Eddie Murphy plays two roles in this. It's like basically two brothers. One is useless. It's basically this dude. And the other one is like a high paid actor. He can't get the high paid actor. So he gets the stupid, goofy looking brother, right? And to play the same role. And then he could market it as this highly paid actor and earn some more money and do it for dirt cheap. I don't get this movie at all. Directed by Frank Oz, Yoda, and Miss Piggy, right? Written by Steve Martin, stars Steve Martin, Heather Graham, her tits are not out in this one, Eddie Murphy, and a whole slew of other people. Uh, Christine Baranski's in this that is worth talking about. Terrence Stamp is in this. Otherwise, it's and yes, Tom. This is where I thought at this point, right? If you look at the two lists, if you look at the top 30, you want to look at stuff that Bowfinger as a masterpiece. Don't tell me. I hated it. I hated it. Like I said, I know people like it. I couldn't connect to the fucking story. I could not do it. I if you put like two Eddie Murphy movies, Life and Bowfinger, I would go Life 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. I cannot do it. Right. We're coming up to some heavy hitters in terms of box office, and some of them are absolutely greats, and some of them are just, I don't understand why they made so much money. Next one is pretty obvious. It's David Fincher. It's a movie that it is literally the second movie that we covered on the Real McCoy podcast. It is fucking great. It is absolutely, if I think 1999, this is the absolute first movie I'm thinking about. It is Fight Club. Edward Norton, Brad Pitt. It had Meatloaf died earlier this year. I think he died February. It had I forgot the name. He has a super minor role, but it's so memorable. Oh, I don't see him here. Chat, you might help me. It's the guy who played opposite the guy who played the stupid Joker. The bad Joker from Suicide Squad. The fucked up teeth Joker. Um uh, Oh, yeah. I don't compare the actual box office. I just have them list. I did the same for 1984. I just took the list as I went through the box office from the lowest one to the highest one. That's it. That's Jared Leto. Thank you, Joel. Jared Leto is in this. He's the guy who's the blonde guy who gets railed on by Edward Norton at some point. Meth Joker. Yeah. Yeah, they released so many movies in 1999. It is absolutely crazy. It is crazy. What can I say about about Fight Club? It is Fucking iconic. First rule about Fight Club: nobody talks about Fight Club. We've went through this. If you want to go and listen to the podcast, it's still there. It's on the playlist. Me and All My Feelings had a blast covering this. It's one of our longest podcasts because we went ham. It is All My Feelings, one of his most favorite movies of all time. One of them, not his absolute favorite one, but it's really high up on his list, and it's great. It's just great. The twists, the turns, all that good stuff. Bowfinger was robbed at the Oscars. Tom, I don't know if you're trolling me or not. I know some people like it and some people just like me. I just did not get it. Now we come to a favorite of mine. I love football based movies, but it has to be really good. And Any Given Sunday, I love so much. P.S. Life sucked. Oh, God damn it. Any Given Sunday, directed by Oliver Stone. Fucking, oh, I love this so much. Cameron Diaz is excellent in it. Dennis Quaid is phenomenal. James Woods as the doctor, as the old doctor, fucking great. Al Pacino, awesome. Even Lawrence Taylor does Lawrence Taylor things in it. Is fucking phenomenal. Who can I say? LL Cool J is just great as Julian. Jim Brown is in this one as one of the trainers. It's just playing homage. Matthew Modine, the young doctor. Oh fucking shit. Uh, Can we get a mod to ban Midnight? No. Joel, Joel, Joel. Like I said, art is subjective. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be champions for. You have to. I don't negate nobody when it comes to movies. I, dude, listen to me. You have to consider this in your mind, Joel. I love, absolutely love Hudson Hawk, and I detest ET Extraterrestrial. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, right? Uh, and above all, Jamie Foxx. To me, this is where Jamie Foxx became fucking Jamie Foxx, right? This was during the time where he still had the TV show where it was just comedy. It's the Jamie Foxx show. In this one, it was above all fucking, it's great. It's absolutely great. I love it. The speeches are awesome. It's just, I just love it. It gives you a backstage look at the NFL as it really is, without saying NFL, with made up teams. But everything around it, the commercials, the sports media, the backstage stuff, the way that NFL players like shenanigans behind the scenes with women, with drugs, everything. We come to this. Eyes Wide Shut. Stanley Kubrick's absolute last movie. And if I want to say it's a masterpiece in filmmaking. In terms of story, I did not like this movie at all. At all. I watched it in the theater with a good friend of mine, and it was like, this is such a fucking waste. It's a waste of time. I mean, I enjoyed the nudity and the sex stuff, yeah, but at the time I was also like I was in the army, and it was like hormones up to here. I had like this when this came out, I was with my wife and I didn't go and see it with my wife. I came home after a break from the army, so we had a shore leave ish, and let's just say somebody got nailed to the wall. Otherwise, like I said, like cinematically, it's great. Story wise, didn't like it. Um, and it is Stanley Kubrick. There are some fingerprints of Stanley Kubrick. Otherwise, no. Next one of two heist movies that are on the list for sure. And this one didn't do as well. This is a remake of the Thomas Crown Affair with Rene Rousseau and Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan trying to shake his Bond character, didn't do that well. Remember, there is a Bond movie on this list that came out the same year. Um, didn't quite hit the mark with me. It's too much rom-com-y for me. It's not really a rom-com, but it involves a lot of relationship and sex, and sort of the heist thing in it is not that good. It's just not that good. Um, Rene Rousseau is naked in it, so that's a win, I guess. If you like Rene Rousseau, if you like Rene Rousseau, otherwise, not. It didn't do it for me. Watched it. It didn't even register. I think it's one of John McTiernan's weaker movies, actually. Sort of like not really a yeah, it's like Bond. Yeah, it's like a Bond with no guns. And the problem with this one is you literally had a Bond movie coming out the same year. This one came out, I need to check, but this one it's like I think there was like a half a year apart between this and the Bond movie, and the character of Pierce Brosnan was not that dissimilar from his Bond portrayal, which was jarring because it's a heist film, not a Bond film. And in the Bond film, yeah, Pierce Brosnan, if you like Bond, then he fits the bill. He does a great job as Bond, but uh, again, story wise, not that bad. Film wise, not that bad, but it just didn't hit that mark. On IMDb, it's 6.8, which is fair. I would give it a 5 or a 6. It's like, okay, it's like a nice little watch. If you don't have anything else to watch and you like heist movies, that'll fit the bill. Plus, of course, random titties is always good. Next one is, again, if you're in the mood for hard hitting movies, this is Anthony Minghella movie. So you're looking for a ride here. The Talented Mr. Ripley. Absolutely love this movie just because of how creepy it is. Matt Damon does such a great job in conveying how creepy of a stalker Ripley is. It is absolutely crazy how he is almost at the brink of getting caught, and then he's not. He's almost at the brink of, oh, I've discovered who you are, but he's not. He's taking over people's lives and living them as if it was his own. He does it to He does it to Jude Law. He does it to Jack Davenport as well. It's so crazy how he can do it, switching switching governments, like Joey Diaz likes to say. He's switching between almost to the point of homoeroticism and being totally straight, and you can tell he is homosexual, but it's like not pervasive. It's like it's not being told, it's being shown. The How he acts, how he manipulates people, how he does everything, and he gets away with it every single time. There's always a contingency in getting away and slipping out, and just oh, it's like as an audience, we see it happening, and it was like we want him to be caught, but the other characters just don't catch him in time. Fucking great movie. Fucking great movie. If you haven't watched it, really worth fuck it. If it's just once, it's good. Next one, I don't particularly like. Saf. I know Saf loves it. I know Saf loves it. It's Three Kings. It's an action movie set in the first Gulf War. Basically, guys who are in the service who know that they're going to leave very, very soon, and they've heard about this, you know, Iraqi gold, and they're you know, trying to get it before anyone else catches up to them. It's George Clooney, it's Mark Wahlberg, and it's Ice Cube. And I know Seth loves this movie, and I don't like it. And I'm not sure it I'm not sure it bombed. I think it made its money back for sure, and it made some profit, but it didn't make like mega profit. It wasn't the blockbuster it was supposed to be. Next, again, a movie that I watched only on cable much later. This was the height of Travolta's run in like from mid 90s till the end of the 90s. He was the guy if you wanted your movie to make anything. I love him in the role. I didn't like Madeline Stowe. I James Cromwell did James Cromwell, which would be the head of the base, or later on we'll see him as the warden in Green Mile. He was a better warden than he is the massive general. There's a conspiracy, and I would compare the general's daughter in terms of movie mystery and in terms of how Joan Travolta acts in this movie to the first Jack Reacher movie. Same type of character, basically. This private investigator within the army. Jack Reacher, of course, is not in the army, but he is within the army. It To me, it kind of reflects the two, although John Travolta is in the army itself, and Jack Reacher have done that role. He has done that John Travolta role, but now he is outside of the like outside of the army. Um, Next one, it says 1997, and yes, it came out in Japan in 1997, but actual release for like mega theaters came in 1999. It's Princess Mononoke, iconic. Miyazaki's anime. It's about a princess trying to figure out in the world. I don't remember exactly the tale. You can read here, right? Uh, I This is one of the few animes that I've actually watched. Didn't watch it in the theaters. Watch it a little bit later on DVD or on VHS. I'm not really sure which one, but I have watched it. To me, it's an okay. All my feelings said he used to love it, but he's kind of down on it at the moment. To me, it's one of those animes that I liked, sort of like, oh, that's what I think about when I think about anime. Hayao Miyazaki. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. If all my feelings is away for Christmas, he said he might watch this because I've been hyping it up for a very long time. But if he watches this, he is pissed. he knows how to speak Japanese, and I just butchered that man's name. Next one, another Angelina Jolie movie. It is The Bone Collector with Denzel Washington. Another Denzel Washington. A lot of people played so many, they did so many projects. This is insane. Queen Latifah as well. It's basically a hunt for a serial killer. Basic movie, hunt for a serial killer. Um, I remember enjoying this in the theater. Uh, but other than that, I not amazing, not amazing. I don't have anything to say about any more to say about that. All right, I need to bring in another batch of movies. A movie that I like very much, but not a lot of people do. A meme movie, uh, a horror movie, a Tim Burton movie, a heist movie, and that. Right. Next one. A movie that I love. A movie that I love that I haven't watched in a long, long while. It is Payback by Mel Gibson. I love this movie. I think this is the first time that I've seen Lucy Liu in any project. It's this. I think this is the first one that I've seen her in, and she is great. I mean, fucking, Porter, Left for Dead, rises up from the grave and pays back to all the mobsters who wronged him. It is absolutely great. Absolutely great. I love Maria Bello in it. I love Greg Henry in it. Payback was shit. I know. This is this is a later version of Hudson Hawk for me. It's one of those guilty pleasure movies. Again, haven't watched it in about 10 years, I admit, but it's one of those movies where it's a guilty pleasure. Speak about guilty pleasure. Deep Blue Sea. I don't know what they were thinking about when they made this movie, but somebody was like, someone was watching the original Austin Powers, and it was like, sharks with freaking laser beams. Well, maybe not lasers. Maybe just make them like intelligent, like super intelligent sharks. And the part that everybody fucking remembers, it's the part that everybody remembers, is Samuel L. Jackson giving that speech that riles everybody up. Then a shark kind of bursts through the glass and just fucking eats them. That's what everybody remember, including me, including me. Otherwise, it's an unremarkable movie starring Thomas Jane, the best Punisher ever. The next one is sort of like, remember what I said about the Joan of Arc, where you've got the TV miniseries and the movie? This one is literally a mobster going to a psychologist to work things out. And this is exactly like The Sopranos, right? And it came out the same year as The Sopranos did, sort of the same kind of things, but this is in a movie. This one is in a movie setting, and the other one is in TV form. Uh, um, I like it. I like it. I don't love it. And I like it not because of Robert De Niro. I actually love it because of Billy Crystal. I love it. It's got like, yeah, Mikey. Yes, you, you. Uh, see. Oh yeah. Analyze. Wait. Stop. Wait. Analyze this is amazing. Analyze that. Eh, exactly my thought. They wanted to catch the lightning in the bottle that this one did, and they couldn't do it because this one it if you follow the movie, this is a one and done. To add anything to this universe is a crime against humanity. Well, it's not a crime against humanity, but it doesn't work. Didn't work. Next one, Double Jeopardy. Ashley Judd gets framed for murdering her husband, then discovered the husband isn't actually dead after she already served about 6 years for murdering him. And she goes out and kills him. Well, she tries. Um Not the best movie in the world. However, cuz Ashley Judd is she's just not believable enough. I do love Tommy Lee Jones in this because Tommy Lee Jones is the man. Is the man. Um, it's an so-so movie. It gives see you see it's 6.5. I would give it a 6. Easy. I would give it a 6 easy. Oof, we're almost at the 3 hours. Holy shit. We're not done yet, but we're close. Next one is The Haunting. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Liam Neeson all go into this haunted mansion that everybody thinks is haunted. It's not really haunted, but it is haunted. It's just, it just missed the mark. It just missed the mark. It made some money, but uh, it's just not worth it. And you notice, right? You notice this. Remember we just talked about The House on the Haunted Hill? It's basically the same movie with taking out the eccentric millionaire genius that gives everybody $1 million once they leave it. Catherine Zeta-Jones, and we will see her in just a short while. The next one is a mega flop, something that didn't work, but I think it's the first collaboration. No, not the first. The second collaboration between Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, where the first collaboration was Edward Scissorhand. This is, of course, Sleepy Hollow. Trying to recapture the Sleepy Hollow tale. Didn't work. Was not good. It was too meh. Uh, Didn't hit the good story beat from the actual story of the Legend of the Sleepy Hollow. Um, and that is about it. I don't want to. It gives it a 7.3. Ew, I would give it a 5 or a 4. It's you get the gist of the story. You get a solid adaptation. Well, I you know what? No, it's not a solid adaptation. It just sucked. It's not good. It's no good. It's no good. Next. Just next. I just don't like the fucking movie. All right, next one. One of the last movies of Sean Connery, and it's not half bad. I watched it for the very first time, didn't quite like it. Watched it a second time, third time, fourth time. Every time I watch it, it kind of grows on me. This is a full-on heist movie. Um, I think they did a good job with this. Catherine Zeta-Jones kind of plays a two-faced character. You don't know if she's actually into Sean Connery. You don't know if she works against Sean Connery. You know, at the end, it has a moment in it where the most famous moment in it where she's in a cat suit, I guess, and she's trying to evade through those lasers. Sort of an iconic, I would say an iconic scene in the movie. I I enjoyed the movie. It's not the best in the world. They gave it a 6 out of 10. I would give it a solid 7.5. I would give it a solid 7.5. It's better than the Thomas Crown Affair as a heist movie. And it's so weird that you've got two heist movies and two James Bonds in this movie. But in this one, I would say Sean Connery plays more like the character that he played in The Rock, but not really. That's all I remember for the movie is that her in the cat suit going through the lasers. That's a lot of people's memory of that movie. It made Catherine Zeta-Jones hotter than the Zorro movie. I'm not even sure when that came out, but she was hotter here than in the Zorro movie, for sure, for a damn sure. And a movie that was mentioned earlier, I think it was you, Mikey, who brought it up. End of Days. End of Days. Don't hate me. The movie ain't that bad. Uh, uh, but the best part of the movie is Gabriel Byrne playing the devil. The devil, Bobby Boucher. No, not Bobby Boucher, but yeah, the devil, right? I He is so fucking creepy. He is so believable as the devil. It is so fucking good. Um Arnold does Arnold things, I guess. If I could compare Arnold's role in this one, I would compare this to Kindergarten Cop, but just the start of Kindergarten Cop, right? Same kind of scruffy looking lawman. Right. I need to load up the next batch of movies. Just hang with me, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most surprising uh movies, just because of I remember it being a fucking flop, and it probably is a flop, but it's so high up in the box office, it just drove me crazy. I couldn't believe it's that high up. Um Kids movie, another rom-com, A sequel, and that. Cool. Next one on my list. I can't believe it. It absolutely does not deserve to be that high. It is Wild Wild West. Dude, the Wild Wild West song was better than the whole fucking movie. It is so terrible. It is so awful. And it is John Peters who's the I don't yeah, it's John Peters. It's literally John Peters going crazy with crazy ideas. It's so dumb. They took a TV show, made it into a movie. They try to make it work. It's like an old Western TV show, of course. I think it's from the 60s. It's just so awful. And the big mechanical spider at the end is just terrible. Terrible. Nothing else to say. And I cannot believe Will Smith's career didn't crash and burn after this. I don't hate a lot of things, but this was on my list. What, for things to hate? We're going straight to the wild, wild west. We all remember that song. Like I said, it's better than the movie, and it's not a great song. Next one, a straight up Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy. I know a lot of people love this movie. I hate it. I hate it. I love it more than Little Nicky, but it might as well be Little Nicky. I hate it so much. This is the type of Adam Sandler movie that I absolutely detest. I absolutely detest. Ugh. Wild West steampunk? No, thank you. Yes, Mikey. Yes. Yes. No, 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 no. Uh Again, a lot of people that grew up with this movie that were at a certain age find it funny, find it hilarious. I just did not like this movie whatsoever. The kid is the same kid that they used in Friends as Ross's son. I I just don't like this movie. It's basically a single guy is taking care of a young kid, and he really is not equipped to do it, but he learns along the way, and just the comedy doesn't work. The comedy doesn't work for me. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And generally speaking, I love Adam Sandler. The Wedding Singer, which came out I think just before this or just after this with Drew Barrymore, was awesome. I fucking love it. Next one. Oh yeah. The Pie Fucker. Oh yeah. This I've watched in the theater. This one was fucking awesome. I did not know what to expect when I watched this movie. By the way, for the longest time, I have not seen the bit where he actually fucks the pie. It was banned here. Didn't didn't get to see it on any DVDs, didn't get to see it on cable. The part that everybody watched, that I've watched way later in life. I mean, there are the bits where the dad comes in and he just you can see just the dad, and then the dad and the son kind of look at it's like how I'm going to explain this to your mom, and you see a pic like stills of the ruined pie. Yes, you get to I got to see that. But him actually fucking the pie, Like it came in like 10 years later. Shannon Elizabeth was the bomb. But personally, from Shannon Elizabeth, Tara Reid, and Allison Hannigan, I would go with Allison Hannigan. I'm straight up. I would, I would, I would go for the shy, nerdy girl. Yeah. And I was never into, what's her face? Amina Souveri. I was never into her. There's another movie not starring her, but she's a big part of it, coming up. Next one, a movie that I personally didn't like, but it made gangbusters, is The Blair Witch Project. Now, the Blair Witch Project, when it first came out, you have to understand, when it first came out, it was marketed heavily as not really a movie, but a found footage, real found footage of a witch, and they said it was some sort of a real killer that was on the loose, blah blah blah. And people went to watch this for the first a couple of weeks, and they thought this is fucking real. And then I think it was one of the producers or one of the directors, because it has two directors, kind of spilled the beans that it's not really real, and it lost a lot of interest. Once people knew this is not real, it kind of lost steam. Yes, Saf. Allison Hannigan was Willow from Buffy. Yeah. Yeah. Mina looked chipmunky to me. Chihuahua, not chipmunk, Chihuahua. Yeah, I'll save my criticism to next. It's coming up. So when people went to watch Blair Witch Project for the very first time, they thought it was fucking real. I have corroborated. I can't speak. Corroborated evidence, because I was in a stream where Blair Witch Project came up. It was a Nick Rekieta stream, and he went on a tangent, and he said that when he went to watch it, he thought it was real, and later on he discovered it was not, and it's like, that's what I remember. I remember it being like, this is fucking real. This is absolutely real. Nope. And how much it cost like 300,000 to make or something, and it made millions. And of course the second one was like, it didn't do anything because, well, I think it either bombed or just broke even because people just didn't believe it. But to be fair, it ushered in this whole era of found footage films. The biggest one, I think, is Cloverfield, the original Cloverfield. Paranormal Activity was kind of like the same, but there are lots of little movies like this where it's found footage, like not real found footage, but found footage stuff works the same way on that particular level. And and they all made money because it's done dirt cheap with no name actors, and just makes money. Next one is another sort of collaboration between Stephen King and Frank Darabont. The earlier collaboration was actually The Shawshank Redemption, which is my favorite movie of all time. The Green Mile is fucking epic. It is so goddamn good. Every single actor, every Yeah, Cloverfield is dog shit. Cloverfield is absolutely dog shit. By the way, Paranormal Activity also dog shit, but everybody liked it for some reason. I don't know why. Every single actor in this movie is fucking great. Every single one. Cromwell is great in it. David Morse is great in it. Bonnie Hunt is great in it. Michael Jeter is great in it. Graham Greene is great in it. My man, Michael Clark Duncan as John Coffey is so good in it. He is so good. Tom Hanks is great in it. Say what you want about Tom Hanks today. Tom Hanks is such a great actor. Harry Dean Stanton, a very minor role in it, but so good. Patricia Clarkson as the crazy ass fucking crazy mind wife of not Sam Rockwell, of James Cromwell. Sam Rockwell as the crazy wild Bill. So good. This movie is just so good. And every single actor in it, from the minor to the major, is up and down great. Is up and down great. And Frank Darabont adapting Stephen King is just magical. It's just fucking magical. The thing about the Green Mile, it's a 3-hour movie that if you cut away the last bit, it would still work. Even if you cut away the front bit of it, where Tom Hanks is literally like the old guy, if you cut away those pieces, it would still work as a movie. But Frank Darabont had to put it in there to give you that full setup and payoff moments, where I personally love a good setup and payoff, and it's throughout the movie. And it's the only thing down about it, it's just very long, and you really want to go through it because it's so good. Next one, not a personal favorite of mine, but my kids watched this one back in the day. We watched it. We watched it together, and they loved it. Stuart Little, a really good, fun little movie. Michael J. Fox dubs Stuart Little. Gina Davis is in it. Hugh Laurie's in it. A fun little movie. A good, wholesome family movie. I don't have anything to add to it. To me, it said 6. It's definitely a 6. Just a good old family fun. My kids enjoyed it very much. Uh, if I were their age, when like they saw it much later in life, of course, but if I was around 8, 9, 10, and one of my parents would have taken me to the movies, or my aunt used to take me to the movies. Actually, she was the one that, when Disney was on re-release, so the old Disney, I mean, Snow White, Pinocchio, Bambi, Dumbo, all those like classic ones. She was the one that took me to watch him on re-release on the big screen. And she would have taken me to Stuart Little if it was time appropriate. At 1999, I was 20, so it's not for me. It's not what I'm looking for in a movie. It's not a bad movie. It's an okay movie. It's a good family fun, but there's nothing to add. Next one, Runaway Bride. Now, the story is very simple. Richard Gere is a reporter checking out a story about a little town with a woman that keeps leaving grooms at the altar, and he's trying to find out if it's actually real or is just made up. That's the basic gist of the story, and of course, they end up getting married at the end. The thing about this movie and why it didn't work, it made money, but it didn't work, if you rewatch it, is the fact that they tried to catch the same Pretty Woman lightning in a bottle kind of moment, and it couldn't quite do it. It couldn't quite do it. Um, it's high up on the earners list, but I guess a lot of women went with their husbands. A first date movie because it's a rom com. Otherwise, it just hit this. If you really if you watch it today, like critically watch it today, you're like, yeah, I think they were like they were trying to do a Pretty Woman, but not really do a Pretty Woman. And Pretty Woman is a good film, is a good romantic comedy because it actually works. This one does not. I don't think it actually works. Cool. We are blowing things up. Thing is, blowing things up is literally the next movie. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Overall, it's generally it's a good sequel. It's a good continuation to the original movie. A lot more slapstick. Jay Roach directed the first one. He comes back for the second one. They keep everything. It's the same fidelity. The fidelity of the movie kind of stays, but they just add in more Mike Myers craziness. They add in Fat Bastard. It's it's so it's so funny. I've recently rewatched this. It's so funny. Dude, overacting? Fuck you, Saf. No, fuck you. I love this movie. And the same way the first one paid homage to the original Bonds, and this one, it pays even more homage where they actually take the Dr. No most famous scene where it's the white bikini scene with Ursula Anders, where Heather Graham has it, but also Austin has it. They pay homage to it, but they also make a full-on parody and satire over it. It just works. It's so good. I love it. It's great. It's funny. And Will Ferrell gets killed in it multiple times. Speaking of Bond movies, I can't believe this Bond did more than the other Bond, and I mean the Thomas Crown Affair. It's The World Is Not Enough, where you had to believe that Carmen Electra, not Carmen Electra, fucking what's her face, Denise Richards is a nuclear physicist. Denise Richards is a gorgeously hot nuclear physicist. Uh-uh. To be fair, the world is not enough. It just doesn't work. It's so apparent that Sophie Marceau is the evil genius, even though she's kind of portrayed as the like a Bond girl up until a certain point. I kind of knew from the start she's the baddie. I don't know. I had a hunch or a feeling or whatever you want to call it, but I watched this one in the theaters as well. One of the few Bond movies that I've actually watched in the theaters. Didn't quite like it. Pierce Brosnan is not my Bond. I prefer old Bond. Sean Connery is my Bond. It is just is. And don't get it twisted. I am old. I am fucking old. But I was not born in the 60s or 50s to make sure Bond is like age appropriate. but I do prefer the Sean Connery Bond to any other Bond, including Roger Moore. But I would take Roger Moore over Pierce Brosnan. Not in terms of looks. Pierce Brosnan looks more like a Bond than Roger Moore, but Roger Moore does a better Bond than Pierce Brosnan. Ooh, that was the next batch. I think we're on the last. Yeah, we're on the last few. We have yet another Julia Roberts movie. We have a Brendan Fraser movie. We have a full on. I think it's Disney, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a Disney movie. We've got an iconic movie. We've got an iconic sequel that I didn't like. We've got a very iconic movie. And we've got George. Right, let's start. From the entire list of rom-coms that we covered in this particular stream, this is my favorite. This is a movie that I will watch by myself or with my wife. Notting Hill. Now, don't particularly love Julia Roberts or Hugh Grant, but in this movie, this actually works. I like this movie. I don't love it. I like this movie. And there's a sequence in it where Hugh Grant walks through the market, and it's a sequence where you need to pass the time. You need to make sure something happens. They break up, as in any good rom-com. You got the falling in love, breaking up, and then reuniting at the end, right? At the part where they break up, they had to pass the time. And they do that by him walking through the market, where he does that at the beginning of the movie, but at the middle part, or like let's say the end of the second act, he goes through the same market and the seasons change. So he starts off like summer, it turns into fall, winter, and then spring, and then kind of the third act begins. This is one of the best passing the time sequence that I've seen that is so needless in a rom-com. You just can say 3 months later and get it over with. But they made the point of doing that particular sequence in a movie that you don't necessarily need to do that sequence. By the way, all of his cast of friends are all likable. All of them. I just I like this movie a lot, and I really enjoy watching it with my wife. I really enjoy watching it with my wife, and I'm not, like I said, not the biggest fan of Julia Roberts, not the biggest fan of Hugh Grant. This one actually works for both of them. Next one, we said Brendan Fraser. We talked about Dudley Do Right. This one redeems it. The Mummy. Watch this movie 3 weeks ago. It still holds up. It's still a good action adventure movie with a little bit of fantasy in it, a little bit of the, not really a sci-fi, but yeah, fantasy in it, a little bit of the old and it works. Actually works. Has moments of comedy in it, which are just moments, and they just work along with the adventure. Rachel Weisz in it is funny. She's a bit clueless. She's mummy. Is she mummy? She is funny, and it's just a fun action movie. It's a fun action adventure movie without being too much of a. Brendan Fraser is more like a Quartermain, if you know Quartermain, a Quartermain version rather than just being an Indiana Jones, and it works, and it works well. It's a pretty good to start a franchise. I didn't like The Mummy 2, and I definitely didn't like The Scorpion King. I definitely didn't like The Scorpion King. Oh, no, wait. There. Cool. The next one, another Disney movie. One of the later ones, and it's not great. It's absolutely not. This is where Disney kind of thought, well, I think it's before Disney actually acquired Pixar. I think they acquired them in 1999, and they started going uh full on CGI animation after that. I think it was 1999. Um they had a few that came out 2000 and 2001, which was just like this, was just animation. But after Lilo and Stitch, they kind of were like, yeah, we're just going to do the Pixar thing. It's like they owned Pixar and they had the animation section, and then they had the Pixar section, and the Pixar just blew them out of the water. Just blew them out of the water. And the Pixar movie is coming because we've got 4 left, ladies and gentlemen. 4 left. Tarzan was the 5th highest grossing movie worldwide in 1999. The 4th one, I'll give you a guess. You know what? You don't have to guess. Guess. Just guess. Which was the 4th highest grossing movie of 1999? I put up a poll like a month ago, 2 months ago, and everyone guessed it right. Which one is the first one? But which one is the 4th one? Ooh, the delay is fucking insane. The delay is fucking insane. This movie is great. The first time I've seen it was on VHS. Unreal, but yeah, I've seen it on VHS. And I loved it from the very first moment. The absolutely insane, the best of the franchise, it's The Matrix. This one is great. Story is great. Casting perfect. Uh Advancing technology works, just works. Literally inventing bullet time for both movies and and affected the gaming industry. This movie is so iconic. Literally, Shrek, the first Shrek, did the took the part of it at the start and spoofed it, and it still was good. Matrix is fucking great. Out of everything on this list, including number 1, this is my favorite movie of 1999. By the way, the casting for this was so good just because of very famous movie that was a big flop, and it was called Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic was a movie starring Keanu Reeves, and it bombed so fucking hard. It's a cyberpunk movie, and it bombed so fucking hard. Keanu Reeves literally thought about quitting acting. And it was cast in this one, and and people kind of thought, well, this is at the start. At the start, people thought it was like, ooh, another Johnny Mnemonic type cyberpunk thing, and it was completely different thing. It was a completely different thing. The rumor that they stole the story gains legs once you see the second and third. I don't know. I don't know. But it's so fucking hilarious that the directors on IMDb, yeah, yeah, cybernetic dolphin, yes, Mikey, yes, cybernetic dolphin. That's Johnny Mnemonic. By the way, it's it's not a bad movie if you like cyberpunk. All the elements from cyber, like if you love like Shadowrun or straight up cyberpunk, all the elements are there. It's just, if they could have had a better tech, because it came out in 1996, I think. They had better tech, could have been fucking great. Yes, I know, Joel. Sean Connery turned down the role of Morpheus and made League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and fact the fact that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was the last movie Sean Connery made is a crime to humanity. Will Smith turned down the role of Neo to make Wild Wild West. Yes. Yes. So fucking hilarious how these things work. And this is why when we do our show, our weekly show, this is why we have behind the screens, the segment behind the screens is to really appreciate how the like how the cookie is made or how the cookie crumbles, the behind the scenes on how we get to see these marvelous stories on our silver screen. It just amazes me every single week. Every single week. The Matrix, favorite movie of 1999, and one of my top 20 of all time. The next one is a Pixar movie. Definitely Pixar movie. This is Pixar at its finest. Toy Story 2, just a continuation of the story. Again, personally, just me personally, I'm not a fan of Toy Story 2. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a great movie. I think it's has a lot of heart in it, a lot of great voice acting. Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, everybody that is in this movie does a great fucking job. The story has a lot, like I said, a lot of heart in it, a lot of soul in it, because it's literally it's John Lasseter. It's John Lasseter with his writing, with his direction. It's just so fucking good. It just works with, of course, with collaboration. But John Lasseter is just the man, and it's just a shame that they kicked him out of Pixar. It's just a fucking shame that it got kicked out of Pixar. Great movie. I don't have anything to add to it. I can say more about the continuation of the story and how they take the doll the toys and they put them in other situations. Technically, I prefer 3 to 2, like Toy Story 3 to Toy Story 2. I think it's a much more it has a lot more drama and a lot more, it's a bit darker. That's why I kind of like it a little bit more, because I like a little bit of the dark. And that's why I don't particularly like Toy Story, the first one. And the second one is a lot more lighthearted. Third one is much more, has a lot more dark themes in it, and I like it a little bit more. I even like 3 more than 1. I know it's kind of weird, I know, but I kind of like 3 more than 1, and not because of the mid ending scene. And now Number 2 in the box office, and number 1 in everybody's hearts, M. Night Shyamalan's best movie of all time. You can have 1A, 1B, this one and Unbreakable, both Bruce Willis, by the way. But if I would to choose, personally, I would say Unbreakable. But because of the twists and turns in this one, this comes out a little bit on the top for most people. So personal choice, Unbreakable is to me the better of the M. Night Shyamalan movies. But most people would say The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense. I See Dead People is just a fucking meme to oblivion, but the whole story is good. There are genuinely scary moments in this one. There are disgusting moments in this one. There's hope, there's depression, there's darkness, there is dealing with depression, there's dealing with death. And it's overall a fantastic movie. A fantastic fucking movie. It's a shame that most kid actors don't really do that well when they reach adulthood. Same with Haley Joel Osment. Plus, Haley Joel Osment did do AI, which was not a great movie at all. Must Live a Nightmare. Dude, Haley Joel Osment is like twice the size I am, and I'm fucking fat as a motherfucker. Poor guy. Poor guy. And number 1 in the box office, personally, as a fan of the Star Wars franchise, this one on a personal level is a mixed bag because there are moments in it that I absolutely love, and it was like, yes, give me more of this. But overall, AI sucks. Almost 3 hours long. Dude, AI sucks your life away. It is terrible. Terrible. The Phantom Menace. You have to understand, when this came out, everybody clowned it. Everybody clowned it. And what do I it's like, first of all, Jar Jar, then the Gungans, then the Gungans fighting the droids. It was way too much CGI. Way too much CGI. The only good parts that looked like it was Star Warsy was the Duel of Fates. The Duel of Fates was the only part that you're like, for me, was like, this is fucking cool. This is fucking awesome. Otherwise, to me, it is a lot of too much CGI. This is a continuation of George Lucas's hack job work with the remastered version of the OG trilogy. I am like full on despecialized trilogy guy. I do not like the remastered version. I don't like the prequels. This one is the worst one of the prequels by absolute mile. I don't like the prequels. I don't want to fuck with the sequels anymore. I haven't even watched number 9. I don't even know what the name of the number 9 is. Like Rise of Skywalker, I think. I don't even fucking care. And to me, Star Wars as a franchise died a slow fucking death the moment it got remastered. And I have 3 VHSs in my house that have the remastered version. And I don't throw it away because it's an heirloom. And like I said, the only part of the only part of um of the Phantom Menace that I actually like, because it's a great little sequence, it's a great little scene. It's the Duel of Fates. It's combining the music and what you see, the practicality of it. Yes, there's a bit CGI of when the things kind of close. Yes, I get it, but it's not overt CGI, and it fits with the theme that you see in the original Death Star and the second Death Star as well. The rise of the floater. Yeah. Like I said, throughout the years, I was a minority when it comes to the prequels, where a lot of people liked the prequels, and I was like, no. And like I said, a lot of people grew up watching the remastered version. A lot of people that are alive today don't even remember the original stuff. That's why when you know who introduced me to the first one who ever mentioned the despecialized version, it was Az from Heel versus Babyface. Like way back, I think he was still doing Warcraft stuff when he mentioned there's this despecialized version, and I immediately went out and got it. It's like I tortugaed that shit so fucking fast, and I still have it on two PCs. I have those files on two PCs. It's it's just I cannot even watch the remastered version. It's just too much CGI that is not supposed to be there. The practical stuff is like it's my bread and butter. I can't. I know it's hack. I know it's 1977, 1981, 1980, 1983. No, yeah, I know. I it I can't. I'm OG. I'm despecialized. I'm sorry. I will be in the back of the pack with everybody else. This this poster, this I got this poster because it's an amalgamation of several posters, and it's sort of a not photograph but a painted on version of it of like I said, an amalgamation. So you can see Luke is more like sort of the Empire Strikes Back Luke. It's mostly the Empire Strikes Back stuff, but it also has the Ewoks. Yes, I know people don't like the Ewoks. I love Return of the Jedi. I love Return of the Jedi. This to me is like the epitome of best version of Star Wars. And it to me always will be. The Phantom Menace did a billion plus. Um It did great. It did absolutely great and revitalized and whatever. And it literally was made because the remastered version did a fuck ton of money. Not a billion, but it did a fuck ton of money. Got this thing greenlit, got this thing like financed, but fucking midi chlorians, Jar Jar, um, and by the way, the original version of Phantom Menace had a puppet Yoda that was so ugly when they re-released they re-released the DVD, not an original release of the DVD, when they re-released the DVD as a bundle of all three, they deleted the puppet and they made a CGI version that they used in the Attack of the Clones, which just tells you how stupid it was. Remember Puppet Yoda? The bad Puppet Yoda? Not this version? No, I can't really see it. Not this version that was on my poster, which is the The Empire Strikes Back version, the version that everybody fucking knows. All right. It's time to, it's almost 4 hours. Went through everything. Which year is the better year? 1984 or 1999? Now, in 1999, we had some bangers. We had some absolute fucking bangers. Right? We had Fight Club. We had The Matrix. We had Sixth Sense. Toy Story 2. The Mummy. The World Is Not Enough. Austin Powers. End of Days. American Pie. The Blair Witch Project. I'm just mentioning the good ones. I mean, the Blair Witch Project is a bad movie, but it made so much noise. Oh, no Blue Streak? Yeah, I forgot Blue Streak. Where is it? Oh, I forgot a couple of movies. Yeah, I've put them down. I put them down. Where's Blue Streak? I don't know why it's not here. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Run, Lola, Run. Office Space. Office Space. I don't have it right now, but Blue Streak. And this one, which I had it down, but for some reason I didn't pull it up. Look. South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. Kyle's mom's a bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's a big bitch in a whole wide world. She's a bitch, 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 bitch. Yeah. South Park. South Park. And of course, Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence doing crazy shit. I did mention Office Space. I did. We had it up. Earlier because it didn't do so well in the box office. So it was one of the first ones that I've read. We will cover this at some point on the podcast. We have a long ass list of movies to cover. So we've already did Matt Stone and Trey Parker movies, but we kept to the like IRL stuff. Well, not technically not, because we had Team America World Police. We had Team America World Police, and we had Orgasmo. So yeah, it is what it is. But there's another Trey Parker and Matt Stone collaboration that is coming up next year. It's actually the first podcast of January. It's going to be a Trey Parker, Matt Stone collaboration. The first one, actually. But South Park, bigger, longer, uncut. Fucking awesome movie that skipped through. I don't know why. It's on my list. I pulled it up from the link. Why is it Blue Streak here? I don't know. I don't actually know. So, to continuation with the great movies of 1999, we've got Man on the Moon, Girl Interrupted, Magnolia, The Insider, The Hurricane. I guess Cider House Rules. 8mm, great fucking movie. Bowfinger, for anybody who likes it. I personally don't. Any Given Sunday, why Eyes Wide Shut. Talented Mr. Ripley, Princess Mononoke, Payback, Entrapment, and yeah, and the rest of the movies that I covered. But 1984 had movies that literally started franchises. And I'm going to tell you because I'm going to pull it up. Again, I've covered this when I did my 1984 movie. I'm just trying to give you an idea. We've got Beverly Hills Cop, literally made Eddie Murphy's career right after Trading Places and 48 Hours. Ghostbusters, what a franchise, right? Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, just a continuation of a franchise. Gremlins, covering it this Saturday, boys and girls, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to cover Gremlins with Tom from Midnight's Edge and perhaps a surprise guest. The Karate Kid. We wouldn't have Cobra Kai if there's no Karate Kid, motherfucker. Police Academy. What a franchise. This is the first one. Footloose. Such a well-known movie. Romancing the Stone with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Splash. Purple Rain with Prince. Amadeus. Tightrope. The Natural. Greystock. Yeah, I know. A bit of a... Don't worry. Revenge of the Nerds. 2010, the year we made contact. It's literally the continuation of 2001. Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks. Red Dawn. The Terminator. The Killing Field. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Conan the Destroyer. That's Conan number 2. Dune. Starman. The Last Starfighter. Teachers. The Muppets Take Manhattan. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original one. Woman in Red. Moscow on the Hudson. 16 Candles by John Hughes, dude. Missing in Action, which is a massive, massive movie for Chuck Norris. Against All Odds, a great Oscar movie. Top Secret. Never Ending Story. And look at how far it is. It's 54 on the box office. But that doesn't mean it's not memorable. Firestarter. Children of the Corn. Supergirl, the original Supergirl. The one that they did with, like, they tried to emulate the Donna version of Superman. It just didn't work. But it is what it is. And there's many more down the list, by the way. But these are like franchises. These are all like the top 10 are franchises. And the top 10 for 1999. Top 10 for 1999 are not franchise made movies. Well, 2 of them are. 3. 3 of them are. So we got Star Wars The Phantom Menace. We've got Toy Story 2. And we've got The Matrix. And then the top 10, we've got The Bond in the top 10. We've got Austin Powers, but that's the second one. And The Bond is like not the first or second one. It's literally the 19th one, right? The Mummy is kind of a start of a franchise, but it just only the first one is any good, right? And that's it. Go down the list and you've got unique stories. Like I said at the beginning when I started it, a lot of movies are unique stories, but that's it. You've got a unique story with a unique director and a unique writer. Sometimes the writer is the director and vice versa. But it's a one and done good film. M. Night Shyamalan, like The Sixth Sense, is a one and done movie. There's no continuation. Same goes with Amadeus, if you want to compare it. Okay? It's a great movie. It's a period piece. Done. One and done. Purple Rain, 1984 with Prince. One and done. It's a hard-hitting movie. Yeah. No franchises, though. Beverly Hills Cop, Indiana Jones, Karate Kid, Ghostbusters. That's your top 5, type 6. So, is 1999 the best year in movie history? And my answer is no. Is it close? A marginally close second. A marginally close second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost 4 hours. I thought I would do it in 2. Like this video, share it around. Subscribers, if you want to subscribe, that's good. If not, that's okay. I don't really chase the subscribers. What I do want is for people to share this video around. I know it's a stream, so YouTube is not really kind to streams like this, but I prefer to do it as a stream rather than just a full video. It would have been a mauler video. I don't want to do that. I'd much rather have the interaction. Plus, you as a stream, you can always check me. Like, check my story, check if I did it correctly, and I'm wrong a lot of times because my memory is absolutely Swiss cheese, just like Sam Beckett. All right. So, like this video. If you want to subscribe, go ahead. But most importantly, share this around. And even more importantly, share our podcast. That's the thing I'm most proud of and I'm most excited for every single week. Saturday, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Do your math on Central and Mountain Time. It's just, we have a lot of fun with it, a lot of blast with it. And next year, I'm planning even more stuff to add to the podcast to make it a lot more fun for the audience, to make it more engaging and more, just a little more fun. Just get more fun into the internet. I'm a disciple of more fun, to just have a laugh and enjoy movies, good or bad, because you can definitely enjoy bad movies. Definitely. I mean, who doesn't like to clown on The Room? And that's just one example. That's just one example. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. If you want to add things to the show, if you want to DM me anything, go right ahead. You can tag me, or you can just straight up my DMs are open to anybody. You don't need to follow me, but if you want to, go ahead. And of course, Instagram. If you use Instagram, I really don't. I use it as a messenger type deal. I don't get a lot of messages there, but you can most welcome do that. If you don't like Elon's Twitter, that's fine. It's okay. You can go there. And of course, you want to email something specific for our show, the rimocrowdpodcast@gmail.com. Suggestions, movie suggestions, anything you like, graphically wise, music wise, or we're looking to expand and develop. I just need the correct man or woman for the job to make it fit. Been looking for that for the past year and a half, and it's surprisingly hard to find. Surprisingly hard to find. Until then, from me to you, bye, Mark.